All right, you know how we start this. Roll call.
Kaya.
Ryan.
Mikey.
Kyle.
And Steven! Welcome back, everybody, to episode 37 of our Mole Master campaign, The Odd Jobs, to what is now part 4 of Breath of the Yellow Rose, which has been part of our super mashup of modules as we've moved from Bolt Smelter's book into Breath of the Yellow Rose, and will likely move into Mayhem at the Earthspur Mountains. But we'll have to see before I can start naming episodes that one. On our last adventure together, the party had been found out trying to infiltrate the complex of Thylius Karamitru, a young Zor from the Karamitru family, some of the most prolific tax collectors in the city-state of Molemaster. The party had a slightly botched attempt trying to sneak into the compound. With the guards alerted and combat beginning, the party was able to defeat and retrieve the keys from a young elven spy, making their way into this large marble garden shed. The party discovered what appeared to be a secret tunnel leading to beneath the complex. Seeing a number of large scratch marks and just the dubious size of this garden shed, the party was quickly descended upon by a number of axe beaks, these large avian, almost ostrich-like creatures, although the size of horses, who attempted to run down the party. A number of guards with heavy crossbows began firing. The party said, nope, fuck that, we're not going to stand out in the field, and took refuge inside this garden shed. Jove, unfortunately, discovering a pit trap a number of feet into the tunnel. After unimpaling Jove and Aquila off of this pit trap, Freddy reset the trap and began to cast the alarm spell as the rest of the party investigated this chapter house of the Eternal Breath. Underneath, finding a strange altar with images of violent storms raging across the globe. They found Ovan, the monk from the monastery of the Yellow Rose, that they had noticed seemed nervous upon the teachings of the nobles earlier that day. Discovered that he was locked in his own cell beneath the complex when not brought out to teach the monastic tradition of the Breath of the Yellow Rose. Finally, upon looking around, noticing what appeared to be two potentially dead bodies in neighboring cells, a sleeping griffin on a large pile of mats, surrounded by tables of alchemical potions, and what seemed to be a large amount of silk root being grown underground the complex. Literally walls of this highly addictive drug, all kind of braided and crisscrossed in, kind of like an underground tomato garden, but for narcotics. The party, while trying to figure this all out and decide what the best course of action, freed Ovan, heard their enemies break through the garden shed, lit the straw mat on fire beneath the griffin, slayed the griffin before it could cause too much destruction. Rory pocketed a potion of minor healing. Joe pocketed a strange vial of dark purple liquid that seemed to storm inside of its own little bottle. And then Jove decided that the best course of action as their enemies pursued them was to light the rest of the room on fire. So using his flask of lantern oil, continued to stoke the fires, and in no uncertain terms, lit the drug lab on fire, causing the chamber to begin to fill with smoke and other strange noxious gases, effectively stopping the party from being rammed from behind, but leaving them only one option out of the tunnels, through a secret ladder leading up into the complex, finding that behind the bookshelves in the library and in Thylius Karamitru's own personal room, a Scooby-Doo style secret passage. The party climbed up the ladder, entered into Some party members entered into the library, with Rornak seemingly killing one of the young nobles with a perfectly placed spear straight to the chest. One of the party members, Jasper, went along the outside of the building to see Thylius and the remaining nobles holed up in his room, and began to break in through the windows, while Jove, Freddy, and Rornak began to storm from behind the bookcase. Jove knocking the bookcase over, Thylius releasing a gust of wind. The party, dodgeball, Hunter style, holding on to each other, stopping them from being blown back into the tunnel and falling 40 feet to what is most likely their death. However, I believe it's Aquila, Jove, and Rornak are currently under the effects of a dose of Silk Root, if I remember correctly. Is anyone else high on Silk Root right now? Cool. Got it. The following fight was short and incredibly brutal, as Thylius attempted to cast magic, but the bard dropped a spear of silence on the room, preventing any sort of spell casting with vocal components, and effectively negating all thunder damage, which hurt as a small Johnny was not able to do thunder damage. However, it also protected the party after, I believe, Jove got the killing blow on Thylius Karamitru, who made a strange upside-down triangle symbol, not unlike the symbol found in the altar by Rornak, before seeming to explode in dust and thunderous waves. The silence protecting everyone against the thunder damage, and only the nobles being blinded by Thylius's untimely demise. As the party seemed to get the upper hand in this fight, a rogue Zephyr Strike was thrown through the window from down below. The same spear that was being held by this strange armored individual. Their armor, a collection of feathers and cloaks, almost like Eileen the Crow from Bloodborne, although mostly brown feathers instead of all black. That spear is currently lodged into the back of Jasper, as Jasper, taking the full brunt of this damage, is knocked unconscious. We return back, still in initiative. We start at the very top. At the top at initiative count 23, that's important, is Freddy. We are in, if we switch back to the main map, we are on the second floor in room number 11. This is Thylius's own personal room. I believe the party, you guys are almost all right next to each other. Rornak, I believe you are next to the last remaining human noble, who is also flanked by Freddy. Jasper is down at the feet of Letitia Goss, and then separating Letitia and Jasper from the rest of the party is Jove, Aquila, and this other blonde noble woman. Currently, the nobles are still, two of them are still blinded. Letitia saved on her, so she is not blinded right now. The other two are, as they have been swinging wildly at the party, not successfully hitting anyone. At the top of the round, we go to Freddy. What would you like to do in this moment?
That's a good question. I think I want to keep my silence up for now, and I think I'm just gonna attack the one that I attacked last time with that flanking.
Absolutely, that would be the human male. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Oh, 19 plus 5, 24.
A 24 will definitely hit.
For 5 piercing.
How do you want to do this?
Oh shit. It's not a bug this time.
No, it's a person. It's a young nobleman.
Just like in the silence, he's just like thrusting his rapier forward over and over again, trying to find some purchase, and then just finally gets one just like right in between the nooks and crannies of whatever armor this noble's wearing, or robes, or whatever he has on. Just like finds that sweet spot to just go straight through him. And then as he falls Freddy just kind of like lets him fall with the rapier and then just pulls the rapier out. It's just like, okay.
And just complete silence.
Yeah. That'll be my turn. I mean, I don't really have anything else that I want to do. What I should do actually is I'm gonna drink one of my health potions.
Absolutely. As a bonus action, go ahead and roll.
Okay. Okay. There it is. And it is 2d4 plus 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, almost max. So I get 9 there.
Nice.
All right. That is my turn.
Freddy gets up behind this noble who has no idea that he is there. He currently can't see anything, can't hear anything. He's blinded, deafened, and then his life is extinguished. It is a terrifying 6 seconds for this young man. As the bookcase is toppled over, he watches the leader of his school get murdered by this halfling. His leader explodes, blinds him, and then he gets stabbed to death in the complete silence. If you didn't know that was a fear, you can now have that one of being blinded and deafened before being stabbed to death. All right, well done, Freddy. Then, I believe, after Freddy, it is Rornak. Initiative count 22.
Gotcha. I am going to. I don't know if I am standing right next to Jasper, but if not, I will move over.
It only costs you 10 feet of movement to get over to her.
I
And now that that dude behind you is dead, you take no attack of opportunity.
Beautiful. I will do as such, and I will use my action for Hands of Healing.
Ooh, give me some flavor, buddy.
The flavor, you say?
Absolutely, I always demand flavor.
I mean, it's as soon as like that spear comes out, like it's more of feeling the impact. Like the sound isn't there, but obviously like Rornak just feels that as Jasper goes down, and like in a sprint over, it's like instead of like the veins kind of popping with the adrenaline, it's the scarring basically, and it almost looks more complex than any set of veins at this point, just with the amount of times that Rornak has come back. It's almost like a spider web of it as it starts to glow this hot, almost like ember red that pulses as he starts using the last of his ki that he holds within him to deal out what mercy that he has left. And you are healed, unfortunately for minimum, but you have 3 hit points and you're alive again, Jasper.
Thank you.
He bends down and places his hand upon where the wound is and tries to seal it off. And if I even can with like the free action, I know the spear's like in Jasper, he will like try and take it out and like use what he can with with his healing to like patch it up as best as he can, at least so it's not just actively bleeding out.
Yeah, give me a medicine roll.
Can do. Not bad. That's a 19.
A 19, yeah, you get a grip on the spear, and this is going to be a nasty one. Luckily, there's no sound in here, so as you let out a horrific scream as you come back to consciousness, met by the full pain of having a spear pulled out from behind you, and it's messy coming out the back way, as it is intended to be. However, the only alternative would be to push it through your whole body, including your armor. So, pulls it out of Jasper. There is silence, but you can feel a slight vibration in the floorboards from Jasper yelling out. However, this is immediately felt by the relief of Rornak's hands being placed upon the wound. You feel almost like a thread and needle stitch across your skin rapidly. filling up this wound and giving you just enough strength to get back to your feet. You now have 3 hit points, I believe.
Yes.
Well done. Jasper, you're back to consciousness with 3 hit points.
Wow.
It's action and free action. Anything with your bonus action, Rornak?
Nothing for Rornak, and he'll just, after taking out that spear, he'll just kind of keep it in the hand, and he'll just stand over Jasper, kind of like watching over and like getting into defense as he's kind of waiting for her to get to her feet.
Absolutely. It is then. What did that one roll? Initiative 20. You guys don't hear this, but you feel what feels like a large popping sensation beneath your feet. There's no sound that is accompanying it. However, even with your guys' passive perception, Jove, you notice it first, followed by everyone else in descending order. Smoke is now beginning to pour out from the entrance that you guys came out of. You can see that this smoke ranges from bright, like milky white, to strange, dark, noxious purples and greens. A cacophony of noxious gases are beginning to come up through the ladder. That dude, at this point in the fight, the entire garden shed is currently up in flames. The underground is currently on fire. There's smoke pouring into that house. I know where he goes. Then after that, it is Jove.
All right. So we still have the Goss cousin and one other noble up, right?
Yes, the blonde noble and Letitia Goss.
The blonde noble, is she next to a window per se?
Next to a window.
I'm just trying to, or I guess we're in room 11, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
You're towards more the center, so while there are a number of windows, especially out on the right side of the wall, almost the entirety of it is almost all windows. She's not like right next to one.
Gotcha. Jove does want to step back for a second and look through the broken window where that spear came through and hit Jasper.
Yes.
Is he able to see the individual that threw it, or have they since moved?
You go ahead and make me a perception check.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a crit fail, but we love to see those. Would you believe that even with all that, it's my passive of 17.
Passive is 17. You look down through the broken window, trying to spot that individual, trying to spot the spear thrower. And with your passive of 17, you do see that the individual has run towards the front of the house. Looks like he turns, and with your 17, you can faintly... well, no, you're on the spear, so you don't hear, but it looks like they're engaged in a quick conversation before they... well, you can't hear what's being said because you're still in the silence bubble. So yes, you do see that individual has made their way around towards the front of the building, just past the library, and appears to have stopped to engage with someone, but you're not sure who.
Gotcha. Good to know. Well, then, in that case, he is going to see that Jasper was just healed by our good friend Rornak, and he'll go ahead and he will re-equip his shield because he had dropped it for doing the two-handed attack. So he'll go ahead and have shield and spear out. He will tag the noble, I guess whoever's closest, TBH.
That's going to be the blonde noble.
Blonde? Okay, so then he'll He'll take a strike at Blonde Noble. Oh yeah, that is a 25.
The 25 will hit.
Okay. And that's going to be for 9 piercing.
How do you want to do this?
Jove is... He'll just kind of rush and, have his shield in tight and really kind of bash them a little bit. And as he's going in, spear the inner leg and really, push that down and pull it out. And he knows that, it's not as quick of a death, but he knows that he hit an artery and that individual is going to be bleeding out here sooner rather than later. So with that, kind of gets that inner leg, uses the shield to really push him down. And I'm sure if we were in the sphere, he would be hearing the cries of a noble. Not used to getting poked in the leg like that.
Yeah, she hits the ground with only the sensation of a body hitting the ground. She's out.
So that means we've got pretty clear shot of that door then, right?
Mm-hmm. Only Noble left on their feet now. Here's Letitia.
Well, Jove would try to speak, but silence...
Loser.
Jove, I think, probably attempts to speak, sees that nothing is happening. So what he is going to do is he will... I think probably Freddy is closer. He's gonna tap whoever's closest to the door on his way out. He's gonna tap them on the shoulder, and kind of do like the whole like eyes, like 2 fingers in the eyes, like, hey, I'm gonna go out and look. And he will use his movement to go out on this, I guess, like little foyer area with the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is going to use his bonus action to allow Aquila to use her action. And what she is going to do is she is going to dash out of there. She's got 80 feet of movement. And really what she's going to try and do is, like, I guess, she's trying to go downstairs and get a look out the front without just, like, bursting through. Though, that being said, on her way down, if she sees enemies or whatever, she would keep her distance. So let me know what happens when she does that.
Have Aquila make me a perception check.
Get her stat. Perception is... It's going to be... She has a passive of 12.
Passive of 12. Aquila darts down, heads down the steps through the foyer, sees the body of that other male noble, cold and unmoving, begins to head out through the front door. As Aquila heads out through the front door, she is immediately met with one of those large avian creatures, who meets the door at the same time. Aquila is able to back up 20 feet from that one. Since she used her action to dash, she does not get the opportunity to attack. So she makes it down the stairs to the front door. That would take from where Aquila's at 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. 70 feet to get to the door, and then backs up 10 feet. So she is currently close to, if we look on the first floor map, she would be 10 feet back from those main double doors there, like right at the entrance of like where the library is at.
Gotcha. Perfect. Then Jove would post up at the top of the stairwell, and have his shield out ready for whatever else is going to be coming through them doors.
Gotcha. After Jove, it is the spear thrower who. Let's roll. Okay. Joe, with your passive 17, you see that individual walk over to that large avian creature, put a hand on its neck for just a moment, and then, with almost like slapping a horse to get it to charge, kind of hits the rear of this creature as he begins to make his way out through the field, away from the complex. The Axebeak, who goes immediately after him, unsurprisingly, begins charging through the house. Aquila is in the way first, so Aquila's going to take this strike.
Beautiful.
Yes. And that's going to be with the beak on Aquila. Okay. That's a 22 to hit.
Ooh, that definitely do.
Aquila takes 2 off from max. 8 points of slashing damage. As at a full speed, this creature drives its axe-like beak straight into the body of Aquila. And the sound is back on, so you hear Aquila kind of make this awful kind of shuddering sound as this... and looking down, you can definitely see, Joe, that this bird-like creature can and has run up those stairs before. It is a mere 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet away from you. As it kind of pulls its beak out of Aquila, its eyes lock up on you, and they're just all black, almost like a raven's eyes, as they begin to fixate on you. After the Axebeak, it is Jasper. You are back to consciousness.
Is Rory currently within melee range of Letitia?
Of Letitia, Rornak did not choose to make any movement, so he is next to you. You're kind of in between.
Okay. How's Rory looking?
General, I'm about half. I'm a little under half. So I've taken a few beats, but I'm probably not in the worst shape of the group right now.
You've definitely seen him more dead.
Right. With the smoke pouring in and everything, I think Jasper's going to stand up and then disengage. And probably go towards the door to see what Jove is dealing with.
Sure, absolutely.
So I assume she sees Aquila dealing with the bear or giant bird creature thing.
Indeed. You get up, disengage from Letitia, using your superior movement, get out through the door. You see Jove, shield and spear ready, facing down something, turn around the corner, and there's one of those large avian creatures who is pulling their axe-like beak out of Aquila's body. Aquila is still standing, by all means. He hasn't poured it back, but 'twas a heavy blow.
Yeah. I think she's going to drop her axe for a second and pull out a hand axe and throw that at the, or not a hand axe, throwing knife, and attempt to hit the bird creature.
Go ahead.
Jesus. That is gonna be Only a 10 to hit.
A 10. You throw a knife, and the bird creature looks to it, turns its head to the side, and uses this axe-like beak to bing! Just pecks it out of the air.
Okie doke. That's my turn.
Okie dokie. Those individuals will take their turn. Dead. 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 Also dead. So that takes us down to Ovan and Letitia. Whew, yeah. Would you believe Letitia's real fucking mad about watching you stab Stylius to death? So, she is going to run out of that room since she's not in any of your guys' areas of attack. She makes it without taking any attacks of opportunity. Skirts around you, Jasper, to come up and try to stab you, Jove.
Wow.
That's gonna be an 18 to hit.
Just hits.
Jove, you take. Whoo! Letitia's fucking mad at you, dog. As one off from Max. You're taking 8 points of piercing damage.
Oof.
As she
That is-
comes up and you hear her in this just like shrill voice, "How dare you do that to Thylius!" And you just feel there's like that shriek. It's like the first loud noise you've heard in like 30 seconds. So you went from like complete silence to like the sound of hearing Aquila get hit by a show screen of a young woman, followed by the piercing sensation of a rapier straight through the back.
And that is just one hit too much, and Jove crumples to his knees.
Unconscious. My friend, does Aquila maintain once you go unconscious?
She does, actually.
Ah,
Which is pretty cool.
which is pretty cool. She is. That actually plays in line better for our narrative. So yes,
She does die. She does go away if I die, though.
if you die, yes, yes, she would. You see Aquila as Letitia drives the rapier into Joe's back, and he drops. Her head twists around at this unnatural speed and angle. As she looks over at Letitia Goss with full Drake fury. Ovan is going to finish his turn. Use another one of those sweet Heidi actions. Got it. It's a 15. Back to the tippy top. That's going to be Fredward.
All right. So there's the bird thing. Is there any and Letitia? Is there anything else?
You're still currently in the room, so you only saw Letitia run out. You have no idea about the bird thing.
Okay, I thought the bird was throwing it into the room.
No.
Okay.
It is currently on the
Uh,
first floor, engaged with Aquila.
Oh, gotcha.
So you see
Alright.
Letitia Goss run out, and you have enough sight from this to see her just put a rapier through Joe's back.
Right. Okay. I will drop my concentration on silence.
The sounds of an erupting, burning drug fire below you suddenly roar into hearing.
We're gonna deal with that later. But for right now, I think what I'm going to do is yeah, I'm just gonna say, well, I guess it never misses, man, and use my one use of magic missile on Letitia.
Absolutely.
Oh, so each dart does 4 damage. So that's 12.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, so channeling man, I can't think of his name.
Some sweet Zanzan, man.
Zanzan. I was gonna say I knew it was like something repeated, but I can never remember Zanzan.
Zanzan Tavish, man.
channeling Zanzan, just kind of pointing at her and really just focusing on center mass and just all the darts just and just hit her, and then like she whips her head around just in time to see the darts coming and just puncture her, and she just falls to her knees and hits the ground.
Dum, 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 dum. Jasper, you hear you turn around to see Letitia pull her blade out of Jove, and then she brings it up. She's about to bring another strike down onto your ally. And as that swing goes down, you just see her entire chest get obliterated, boom, 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 by 3 bursts of force. She coughs out a huge gout of blood before boom, boom, landing with a heavy, sickening thud.
So I'm gonna run over, because my next intention is to heal Jove. But it would be an action to administer a healing potion on someone else, right?
It is an action to administer a healing potion on someone else.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm just gonna run over to him with the intention. And that will be my turn. Do I see? Is he outside of the room?
Jove, yes. You would exit out of the room. You run up to Jove. You've got a health potion in hand. You're on your way to administer it, and even with your passive, you look down and just meet the eyes of this large avian creature who's pulling its beak out of Aquila.
Okay.
All right. Then it is Rornak.
Alrighty. Well, Rornak will also exit the room and begin heading down the stairs. And you said it's just this big avian creature that's over Keela right now, right? That's
Yes.
the main enemy that we see here.
As of right now, yes. You see that all the nobles, including Thylius, are all disposed of. You don't see any other enemies for the time being. Just this large avian creature, a down Jove. The smell and the roar of this kind of, the drug fire that you guys lit is starting to sear up. You can now see and hear the smoke beginning to pour out from that secret entrance you guys came into. The silence having deafened the main noises of it, but suddenly the popping underneath your feet becomes very apparent.
Yeah, definitely need to get moving then. Would I be able... Do I have enough movement, or, is there enough space where I could actually, get right up into melee range of the creature, or not really?
Make me an acrobatics.
Gotcha. That is an 11.
An 11. You try to get by the 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies all in kind of the entranceway out of this room. Decide it's not going to happen and just fucking leap over the railing to get down faster. With an 11, it's only 10 feet. You don't take any damage as you land on the bottom floor. The creature's only about 15 feet away from you.
Beautiful. I will use my movement to get right up in there, and still holding the spear that he took out of Jasper is gonna stab it right into this thing.
Go for it.
That's a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Beautiful.
You see Aquila spit up a little bit of lightning phlegm, so go ahead and add a d6 for that.
I love it.
Such a fucking hell. I love it.
That is 8 piercing and 2 lightning. 10 total.
8 piercing and 2 lightning. Sure. 8 piercing, 2 lightning. How much health did
if it's still on its feet, I will use the bonus attack as well.
Go for it.
That one probably misses. That's just a 10.
A 10. It does indeed. You get 1 strike into this creature. However, as you go for a second one, a large taloned leg meets your spear point. Ping! and drops it onto the ground, almost like it's stepping on top of your spear. Rornak, you're kind of a tall individual, all things considered. This thing towers over you.
Dang. With that, with it like stepping on the spear too, Rornak will go ahead and drop that one and let go of it as he fastens his hand around his own spear that he's carrying on him.
Absolutely.
That'll be all.
Then it is initiative count 20. This time it's not a pop, it's a full shudder. You feel the foundations of this complex begin to shake. The smoke fumes out through the house. However, you guys have all left that room, you lucky sons of a bitch. So you guys don't need to make the Constitution save. You guys left literally at the last fucking moment. Son of a bitch.
That's this whole fucking dungeon for us, man.
As Thylius's room and the library begin to fill with once again, that cacophony of noxious gases. Everybody go ahead and make me an insight check on initiative count 20, except for Jove, because you're unconscious.
Jesus Christ. 6.
Things are too bad. Jove's down right now. Your mind is in other places right now. Who gives a fuck about the roaring beneath your feet? Jove's down.
18.
18. Holy shit, that roaring beneath our feet is a fucking bad thing. We need to get Jove the fuck out of here.
10.
10. I need to kill this bird first, and then I can worry about the roaring underneath my feet. Those are the three insights you all come to. That's initiative count 20. So that brings us down. Jove, make me a death saving throw.
I shall. 19.
19. Success. What does Aquila do?
That's a great question. Akila's pissed, so she's just gonna go ahead and do a bite.
Go ahead and roll an attack for Aquila.
She's getting into that kind of rage mode. She definitely misses with under 10.
Yeah, under 10 won't do it. Bites into the closest thing next to her, which is one of the talons on this creature. And while the teeth do find purchase, it is a talon. Go for it.
I was just gonna say she will kind of swing to the, I would say probably counterclockwise if she was at 12 to get closer to like 9, so she's more like parallel with the front door instead of just like right in front of it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so she would want to swing to 9. Okay, away from the library, towards
Away
the
from the
dining
library.
room. Okay.
Yes. If the dining room is number 4.
Yes. Okay, Aquila can. And since she's a small creature, she can make her way over. Strafes around. She's at the 9, so she's not by the library. She is closer to the dining hall.
Beautiful. And that is our collective turn.
All right, the collective Jaquila turn. It is then. Yeah, they continue on out. He's dead, so it is now the bird creature's turn. Is this going to try to get you, Rornak, because it did not like that strike. Natural 18, so that's going to be a 22.
It sure hits.
That is... That's 7 points of slashing damage as it whips its large axe-like beak straight down and cleaves through part of your shoulder. Like a large velociraptor. That's going to be its turn since you guys are right there. And we move to Jasper.
So Tisha's dead. Yeah, I was like, not even.
Unfortunately, yes. When you take a full-powered magic missile that does her entire health bar and then half of the next one, yeah. Yeah, you're not a doctor, but most people can't survive having grapefruit-sized holes placed in their chest. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. can't say she didn't earn that, so I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Jasper's gonna scoop up her obsidian axe and move past Freddy and Jove, since she knows he's the potion boy, so she'll leave this
Potion
to him.
boy.
And she'll go
Potion
down and see if she can't get flanking on the bird creature.
From where it's at. Well, with your boots of spider climbing.
Well,
Yeah, I'll
I
give you
can-
flank
I
on
can
that
get
one.
Weird angles. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll give it to you.
Love it.
Beautiful.
If you did not have the slippers, I would say no, this is just going to be a straight up attack, but we'll count as sneak. But with your slippers of spider climbing, go ahead and make the attack. I'll give you flanking on it.
That's a 19 to hit.
A 19 will definitely hit. Go ahead and do damage.
Beautiful.
Go ahead and add that extra d6 for Aquila too.
Oh shit. It's probably gonna do some work. Okay, so that is going to be 12 magical slashing and 2 lightning.
How do you want to do this?
I think. Oh, this is tough. I think she runs along the wall rather than down the stairs, and while running, leap off to plunge the axe into its head on her way down and land on top of it.
As you land on top of this and drive your axe in your body all the way from the top of this creature's head all the way down to the floor, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Ah, boy. Ah, jeez.
Yeah, jeez.
I hate these. Oh my god. 6?
6. Yeah, 6 is not gonna do.
Yeah.
Would you roll me a d8?
Jesus. Sure. I'd love to. 2?
Could you make me another Constitution saving throw?
Jesus Christ.
Sure.
Sure.
Weed every day.
This one's a 20.
A 20. You feel your vision begin to fade for a moment. You are called to sleep in unconsciousness for just a moment. You feel this gas filling your lungs, and you are able to, with that second Constitution roll, hold your breath. It makes you lightheaded. What's your Constitution modifier right now?
+4.
You have 4 rounds to get a breath of fresh air before you fall unconscious.
Okay.
As you get an inhale of this, and you're like, it's like when when the bong rip is too hard, and you only take a little bit of it, and you're just like, oh no, I need to let this out the right way, or else I'm gonna throw up right now. It's like that, except you know that instead of throwing up, you'll just go unconscious in this burning building.
Not ideal.
A bad time for sure. It's like as you bring down, you bring the axe down, you bring in that big breath of air, feeling hyped, like when you cut off that chimera's dragon head, and as soon as you inhale, you're right by that library, you look around, you're like, fuck, and so you just hold it, and since you have a
Some stars.
yes.
Do I see a clear path out from the door that this thing came through?
Now that thing is murdered, yeah, it's a straight shot. It only costs you 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 feet of movement. 20 more feet and you can get outside the building.
Okay. She also feels pretty confident there's probably an enemy or two out there because she got sniped through a window earlier. So I think for now, she's gonna use what movement she can to get up next to the door and use a bonus action to hide.
Go ahead and roll the hide.
For fuck's sake, my die really doesn't want this to go well today. 7.
7. You get up behind the door. You try to use the other door to like lean behind it, and your full weight just opens it up. You are exposed to kind of the front door. With your passive, you like look around in a kind of a panic as this door kind of swings open, leaving you exposed. You don't see anybody on the field.
Both worrying and reassuring.
We'll say that's a bonus action, an action, and a movement. That's going to be the turn.
Okay. Okie doke.
We'll move down from Jasper. Ovan will finally make his appearance. And from kind of the side coming around, sees the door kind of swing open, pokes his head around, and there you are, Jasper. So Ovan, you see him kind of peek around from the corner of the building and gives you like a small wave. He's seemingly unhurt.
Well, that's just dandy for him.
Indeed. So he kind of creeps from around the side of the building, seeing you, giving you a wave, appearing unharmed and not in any significant danger. Interpret that as you will. Freddy, we're back at the top.
Okay. I'm going to administer the potion.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. 7.
Jove, you gain 7 hit points. You return back to consciousness.
Huzzah. Thank you, sir.
Administered potion. Thank you, sir.
What not?
It's weird coming from Jove.
It's gonna be a little Johnny administering the potion as I play a little bit of my harp and I say get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, and a Johnny comes out and gives him the potion, and you also get a bardic inspiration.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
That's my action, bonus action.
All right. Any movement from you?
I mean the building's burning down, so I'm probably gonna run for it.
You run the full 30 feet. It gets you right outside. You step over on top of the body of this large avian creature, like run past Aquila and Rory, and you see Jasper like kind of like falling forward, pushing this door open, like turns her head to the side. You run out. So you get like 5 feet at the door. That's the full use of your movement. Look to your side, and you see Ovan, who's like waving at Jasper, then sees you and waves a little bit harder. You are out of the burning building.
Yeah.
All right, then it is Jove.
Yeah. So he is going to use...
Wait. Sorry, Jove. Your initiative 18. On initiative 20, it sounds like the fire has finally hit the bulk of the alchemical tables, as it sounds like fireworks and bottle rockets and hissing and this strange, almost snake-like sound of multiple things exploding. Boom. I need everybody still in the house to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, yeah.
Jasper, you're currently holding your breath, so you do not need to make me one.
Okay.
15.
15. Success.
I almost rolled a crit fail on that too. It like hovered for a second. I was so scared.
I did roll a crit fail and then
No!
rolled... But, hey, I'm a
right.
Nephilim.
Right.
You roll more crit fails than anybody has any right to be,
Truly.
and I can't believe there's not a limit on this halfling
You
luck.
actually roll more crit fails than I do.
Jove got 22 and Aquila got 13.
22 and 13.
That's gross.
Yeah, everybody saves. As this kind of rush of smoke begins to just blow through the entirety of this house. You can smell the burning of the various chemicals and plants, like wafting up through this. Knowing enough of what is down there to know you don't want to breathe in a ton of that one, all of you are able to hold your breath as the entirety of this house now begins to fill with smoke. It is now lightly obscured. Jovid, now it is your turn. As like this smoke, like you hear this large cacophony of explosions below you. A rush of smoke of various colors begins to just pour out of the secret entrances. You're able to hold your breath for the moment. You're currently kind of like on your back looking up. You see Freddy has taken a run down the stairs. It's starting to fill completely with smoke. What do you do?
So I would definitely use half my movement to get back up on my feet.
Gotcha.
So I'm doing that. I'm looking at Zephyr Strike right now, and I'm trying to, and maybe, Kaya, I know you played a ranger that used Zephyr Strike a lot here. Do I have to make the attack to get that 30 feet of extra movement? Because, it's concentration for up to a minute. But it says whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until end of that turn. So that kind of reads like that.
Let me look at it and put my DM brain on.
Because what I'm trying to do, Dom, is I would like to cast that to be able to use that speed to get down, and then if there's enemies out there to use it. But
I think the idea is that like the attack pushes you with wind, and then that's what lets you get away.
Yes, I will say, since the wording of it is whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of that turn. While you are concentrating on it, you do need to make the attack to gain the extra movement speed.
But while we're looking at it, for future uses, if I were to cast it, would I still get for the duration your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks?
Yes.
Cool. So I could use that to get away and not necessarily have to use, so I could, for a minute, be able to use that to skate around opportunity attacks. Okay. Cool.
Yes, you could in the future use your bonus action to activate Zephyr Strike, which would basically turn on your own use of mobile, and then not make any attacks, just use your action to dash. You'd have your 50 feet of movement speed every round and not provoke attacks of opportunity.
Beautiful. Well, then in that case, he is going to just use his action to dash. So that would give me 40 feet, because I halved it going up, so I've got 40 feet. So he would go straight down the stairs and pop out the building like the rest of the folks.
Yeah, you push right past Freddy, another 5 feet ahead of him, and get out of that burning building with your passive 17. You do see individuals. You see what appears to be that feathered individual. They are standing at the gates, looking back into the complex. They're probably 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They're about 50 feet away. Kind of looks back at you all. You can see that they have kind of this like avian helms, like wooden mask on, tons of feathers throughout their kind of equipment. Clearly the owner of that spear. And kind of looks back. You have that kind of moment as like you exit out and breathe in, the fresh night air, or whatever fresh night air is for Mole Master. Take that with a grain of salt. As you look and see this individual, they kind of make eyes with you, and you can, even though you can't see them, you can definitely feel that stare is being returned before they turn, and since that's your action and your movement speed, and he goes immediately after you, you can see that he begins to leave.
Also, I think we skipped over me again,
I
too.
do believe we did skip over you. I'm sorry, Ronak.
It is okay.
The only other thing that I was going to do for my turn was pass my bonus action on over to Aquila to give her the dash so she could go out of the building and like hide on like the southeastern corner, like along the wall. So she was like peeking out, but had a little bit of cover, if that makes any sense.
Like the wall, the whole complex?
Not of the whole complex, because the building, unless like because the building's kind of burning from the inside out right now, right?
Yeah, it's rolling from beneath upwards. So, like, the labs that you guys lit on fire are currently on fire and have been burning. That's where the smoke is coming through and is going to begin leaping up through the only really airway it has, which is through the building.
Awesome. Well, then, yeah, so she would, like... I'm looking at the first floor map, so having her go out to that, like, southeast corner, and even though, like, the building's on fire, just for that time being in that, like, one square, so she could still kind of see that front gate, but not be just completely open to ranged attacks.
Sure. Aquila can move over there. That's just fine. Aquila would see the same thing you do. You see that kind of feathered individual leading whatever remaining guards or peoples that were in this complex out through the gates into the streets of Mulmaster. Escaping the fire and flames is now consuming the complex.
And that will be our turn.
Rornak.
Alrighty. Well, Rornak will definitely use his movement to exit the burning building.
You do indeed.
Alrighty. And then, as I get into that, like, courtyard area, do I notice anybody as well?
You will need to roll a perception check.
Of course. That's a passive 12.
You do not.
Gotcha. I think seeing his party making his way and
Make him away.
out then at that point and not seeing anybody else, yeah, he would just say we should get going and start making his way towards the gate.
Making
So
away.
he'll use the remainder of his movement to do that and take the dodge action as he does that too, just in case.
Yes.
Kind of keeping his eyes out. He doesn't notice anybody, but he's still just kind of looking around to see if there's any stray arrows or spears coming his way.
You make your way to the gates. You have plenty of movements. It only takes you 10 to get out of the building, and then 30 feet will take you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Straight to the main gates. You can make it all the way there. Kind of keeping your eye looking back, focused on the complex and anyone sneaking up through there. You get to kind of the main gates, and you see right on the other side of it, the gates are currently opened, which was not the case when you entered into the complex. Someone has clearly opened the gate. You see that feathered individual and what appears to be two other guards, heavy crossbows, swords, are making their way away from the complex.
Yeah, Rornak just keeps in his defensive stance as he now notices the feathered individual in particular, and yeah, not much more he can do there. So that's it for him.
Jasper.
I haven't noticed them at the gate, right?
No.
I
You
think-
do notice the rest of your party, Aquila included, all make their way out of the building.
Right. And Ovan was still waving me over, yeah?
Yeah, Ovan is still in the corner. He's at the very end of initiative, so for him, he has now noticed the bulk of you guys exit out through the building. Has made himself known now. He's no longer hiding.
She'll make her way over towards him.
Gotcha. Yeah, easy enough with your movement. You make it over to Ovan. He's wearing the kind of blueberry, with blueberry-colored robes with decals of yellow run through it. The image of a yellow rose emblazoned on some of the robes. While he is clearly probably in need of a bath. Overall, he looks to be in good health.
Okay. Yeah, I think she just stands by him and then maybe just gets a good look around, see if she can't see
Go ahead and make me a
anyone
perception
or
check.
Okay, okay. Catchphrase.
You look over and you can see some smoke is exiting the garden shed. It has poured out. You can see like the whole manor is now smoking. The garden shed is leaking smoke out through there. You can feel even underneath your feet that, various popping noises, some 20 feet below you. You can almost feel kind of the warmth emanating from the ground. However, you don't see any more guards. Nobody's exiting the garden shed. You kind of look behind Ovan and don't see anybody. Your party's out. And as we get to Ovan's turn, I will say we are out of initiative. The house really begins to start to smoke. You can see licks of flame beginning to shoot out through the library. Some of the parchments and the books begin to catch on fire. Bits of... You can smell this kind of noxious... It ranges from like cucumber and pine needles to heavy tar and fatty smoke, then burning hair, burning feathers, burning wood, burning glass. Just as the moments tick by, the fire does begin to consume this whole building. The party is kind of left. It is late at night now, probably closer to 11 midnight. As you watch, for the second time, the house of a Zor and Mulmaster burned to the ground after you guys were inside of it.
We do that, I guess.
This is the second time. I've been waiting to make that point all session. The second time you guys went to Noble's house and there were cultists and a fire was lit.
If we do it one more time, that's just our thing.
That's just, we change
Next
your
time we
guys'
need to
name
take
to the
out an
house
insurance
burners.
policy or something, yeah.
You guys are going to make a racket of helping nobles just get rid of property they don't want by lighting it on fire and collecting the insurance money. The chapter house of the Eternal Breath, the seeming source of much of the silk route in the city, all burns together in kind of this moonless night. It's incredibly dark. You're away from kind of the busy streets of Main Mulmaster. There's very few of kind of the lamps burning in this district. It's only really the light of the flames kind of flickering through this complex. And even then, the entirety of this area already has a lot of like overgrown brushes and bushes. And even though you're standing next to it, it's like the city almost drinks in the firelight and replaces it with shadow. But you have Ovan in your custody, I suppose, as you're watching kind of the chapter house of the Eternal Breath literally go up in smoke. What would you like to do now?
Run.
Yeah,
we need to get out of here before somebody shows up.
Agreed. I've got many questions for you, Ovan, but this is not the time. We need to find somewhere to go now.
Of course. Where? Do you all know of somewhere? I've only been stuck in this complex. I don't know Mulmaster well.
Y'all can help him out as Freddy goes invisible.
Whoa, Freddy,
What?
you better be reporting to your fucking cloak so we don't get in trouble for this.
Sure, I'll report to them that I started a fire and that's the reason it burned down.
I think you can think of maybe a better way to explain what happened than that.
I
Maybe.
mean, I have the whole walk over there, so I'll see what I can.
All right, great.
So, Freddy, you begin making your way invisibly back to the Tower of Arcane Might. Since you're being invisible, just for funsies, roll me with advantage a stealth check. 15. Yeah, you make it all the way back to the Tower of Arcane Might. Nobody suspects a thing. As you head all the way back to the Tower of Arcane Might. How long does your invisibility last?
1 hour.
Yeah, with time to spare. As you're making your way back to the Tower of Arcane Might, we'll hold on that one. Give you a minute to think about what you will be saying to Nevlon Jijuan. We'll go over back to the party. As Freddy disappears into the night, heading back to the Tower of Arcane Might, what do the rest of you do?
Jasper, I know we talked about before going to the Zent Ghetto if things got hairy, and it looks like it's getting a little hairy. You think that'd be a good outpost for us?
Yeah. One small thing I should mention, the Zenitrim asked me to investigate Ovan specifically. Your involvement in this has caused my family a lot of trouble, and I don't know how kindly they'll take to you just showing up in their turf. So I didn't expect us to get all chummy with you. So do we have a way to disguise him at least, maybe in the short term?
Well,
If
why
that's
don't we
the
just
plan we
tell
wanna
him that
do.
we found him in a cage? You know, it's obvious that he was at least some sort of prisoner. I don't think he was the one. He might have been the one that was putting a veneer of nicety over all of this, but yeah, I don't know you, Ovan, but generally the mustache twirling bad guy isn't locked up in a cage next to a sleeping griffin. So, I mean, if your word means something over there, Jasper, maybe you can well, put your word to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best option we got right now. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Wherever you
And-
lead, I will follow. I'm at your mercy.
And Jove is gonna turn around and look at Ovan just like straight in the eyes and say, "Now we're sticking our neck out for you. So if it turns out that you were involved here, beyond just being a captured fuddy duddy here, we're gonna have a bit of a problem. So tell me, you're the victim here, right?" And Jove is just gonna be like daggers in his eyes.
Ovan looks at you. These soft, kind of boyish features, brown, short hair that seems like it is almost ritualistically like shaved all the time, only being, like a number one all the way around in our modern colloquialisms. Looks back with you with kind of like a just soft but deeply saddened expression and says, I have been a prisoner of Thylis Karamitru for months. While I did teach a version of the Breath of the Yellow Rose, the business with the silk root, the proselytizing, the clear debauchery was neither my intention nor my doing. It is not my way. Not our, looking over to you, Rordak, way. Omada teaches mercy, compassion, and endurance. And that is what I did. I endured.
Can Jove roll an insight on that?
You absolutely may roll an insight on that.
Ooh, yeah, that's a 21.
A 21. With a 21, he's definitely not lying. These are all true words. But there's something that irks at you, Jove. He's not being dishonest, but he's playing around with the truth.
So he'll let that kind of silence hang in the air just for a few seconds, keeping that strong eye contact. He's going to look over at Rornak, make some eye contact, and then put on a smile, slap him on the shoulder, and say, "That's what I thought, my boy. Now, come on, we should be hoofing it." And he doesn't go super soft with that slap on the shoulder. He wants to let him know that that he's got some strength behind that. So he'll kind of boom and almost kind of grip him on the shoulder just a little bit. Just
Make
a
me an
little
unarmed
bit.
strike.
Yeah, sure.
No.
No, did you crit?
Oh, I rolled a 20.
Oh my god, you killed him.
Roll me damage.
Oh my god.
He's dead.
That is, technically, I believe that's 1 plus your strength.
So that's 4.
4. So
Doubled, so that'd be 8.
Jesus Christ.
poof, you all watch as like Jove has like this mad dog like stare at Ovan, and you just look at this just young, thin, like dirty looking monk and like blue robes just talk about his imprisonment, and you see Jove get all smileys and then just smacks the fuck out of this dude. Just puts a hand, and Ovan is clearly not prepared for it and gives you no resistance. He's light as shit. And you just drive him shoulder first into the ground. Just Ovan just kind of
Joe will pick him back up real quickly and dust him off and say, sorry about that, adrenaline's still running.
How rough does Ovan look after that, honestly?
After taking 8 points of bludgeoning damage, let me look at his stat block. He looks kind of rough, not gonna lie. There's a little bit of like blood running down like one nose. He kind of wipes it off to the side. You see a little bit of the sleeves of blue turn a kind of a shade of purple with it. Joe, this kid is all air, no stones. He must weigh 110 pounds at most. He's incredibly thin. He's built much like Rornak, but without Rornak's just very clear muscles on his build. He's just all thin, and he looks like if he told you all he did to eat was like smell food and drink tea, you would 100% believe that. So you pick Ovan off and kind of dust him off, and he just kind of nods at you and tries to cover up some of the bleeding from like his nose.
Yeah, Rornak, seeing that, will he'll come over and like put a hand on his head, and I'll burn a key point for OA healing on that one. As he heals, everyone's getting minimums. He gets 3 hit points as Rornak once again kind of like lights up with the myriad of like kind of cuts across the body as he tries to just kind of like bring a bit of ease to it. And he'll even after that take out his mask from his bag and place that back on to try and hide some of the scarring that is starting to brighten on his head. And prominently putting that on even in front of Ovan so he sees, and will tell him, if you speak the truth, then you have nothing to fear in Ilmater's eyes. But come, we should not be discussing this out in the open.
Of course. But I've never been afraid in the eyes of Ilmater. As Ovan follows you guys, you're heading towards the Zent Ghetto, I believe.
Rornak Rornak definitely gives him a side glance with that, but I don't know if he sees it with the mask on.
It's kind of hard to give side eye properly when wearing a porcelain mask.
Yeah. He takes note, but yeah.
But yeah, to the Zent Ghetto and the Black Blade.
You make your way across town as Freddy is heading towards the Tower of Arcane Might. You get to the Zent Ghettos. It's late at night, but there's always that City Watch guards there. You begin to walk towards the Zent Ghetto when one of them begins to stir, sees this masked group of individuals, what appears to be a slightly beat-up young monk, a halfling, just a weird fucking group of people at fucking nearly 1 a.m. They begin to make their way over to you. Hey, what the fuck do you think before they get about halfway through? You hear, coins for orphans? As a large group of small children begin to kind of surround the City Watch, and you hear ring out, coins for orphans? Coins for orphans? And it begins...
Rornak.
Go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rornak, like not even missing a beat, will take out 3 gold pieces and throw it towards the way of the people that were asking about them, and like not even like almost acknowledge them and keep walking.
King, king, king. There's just a like loud screeching noise as once again the packs of orphan children through the Zent Ghettos descend on these coins, and the city watchmen are just at a complete loss as they are pushed to the side and kids are climbing over them. One of the city watch like falls into it, and you can see he's just getting stepped on by dozens of children. Like, not enough to put them in like danger considering they're wearing metal armor and most of the kids don't weigh enough to dent it, but definitely enough to give the distraction as you guys are able to use coins for orphans to get into the Zent Ghetto without being
Like,
stopped by
it's
the City
fucking
Watch.
Assassin's Creed out here.
Really though.
I love it.
Rornak, as you look at this, the kind of groups of kids, you see kind of a young girl with brown hair, and she makes eyes with you, and with this kind of like gap tooth, like clearly missing some of her baby teeth, like all just sorts of funky, jacked up, like think the Kanker sister style teeth. Just smiles at you and gives you kind of like a wink and holds up one of the gold coins and darts off back into the Zent Ghetto.
Rornak has a slight smile underneath his mask.
As you leave the City Watch to deal with the coins for orphans, you follow Jasper. She leads you through the broken cobblestone and almost spiderweb walkways of the Zent Ghettos. You can see the signs of multiple like big burnings. You walk not terribly far away from the old temple of, was it Mirkul? Where the chapter house of the Eternal Flame was hiding. Who is that? Who is that guy? It's not Bane. Sirik. Yes, the Temple of Sirik. You walk kind of past like the burnt remnants of that. Just as much as there is just cobbled together houses and walls and streets and carts, and you see a number of individuals in strangely lit little shacks, there's also just a number of fire damage here, confirming kind of the many stories of fires in these ghettos. Even kind of this late at night, you can see off in the distance there's a clear number of smaller fires, almost like dark little fireflies lighting up this closed-in, oppressive space. But you make your way to the Black Blade, the Bar of the Zenitrim, marked with just the singular kind of darkened blade that holds together the signpost. You can see scratched into, like the behind there, Jasper, you kind of pointed out the small symbol of Zenitrim, before entering into kind of a low, squat building. all manner of different materials making up the walls, from sheet metals to cobblestones to wood to, what appears to be like bottles and wood beams and wagon carts and just anything that they could to just reinforce it over and over and over again. Like walking into like the set of All That, which is all that shit on the walls. You make into the Black Blade. At this time of night, the Black Blade is busy. There's a number of patrons sitting around. There actually appears to be some liveliness here. Jasper, it's kind of a shake from you. Most of the time, this is a quiet, sodden drinking hole where only members of the family do any real business. And, most of it's just for show. But tonight, it looks like there's actual patrons in there. There are drinks being handed out. A number of, what looks like card games going on. There's even kind of a half-drunken bard kind of playing some vulgar tunes off to the side. A just huge low wall of tobacco smoke and other potential smokes kind of mingle throughout the room. There's blood, there's sweat, there's cheap alcohol. Even in kind of the moonless, cold night that has been, it's incredibly warm in here, sweaty. As you enter into the Black Blade, what would you like to do?
She's gonna approach the bar, and assuming Equors is there, she's gonna. Any chance she learned Thieves' Cant for like requesting shelter?
Roll me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Nice. That's a 21.
You go up to the bar. For Thieves' Cant, for looking for shelter, you place a copper piece, a silver piece, a gold piece, and then the copper piece on top of it, making this kind of, the kids' toys where you put the rings of different sizes up there, kind of this odd little coin stack tower, and you put it onto the bar and hold out a finger. And Equars sees the finger, looks at the coins, and then his eyes kind of dart back up to you, looks behind you, and sees the majority of your party members. And hey, bud. And you see he kind of motions over to what looks to be like a human male. Take over for a minute. We got to restock some supplies in the back. It's like, oh, okay, Equars, you got it. Equars comes on over to you. Hey, why don't we take a walk out of here for a minute?
She just nods and gestures for the others to follow.
Equars leads out of the Black Blade. Heads over kind of through the back. Doesn't lead you to beneath the storehouse you kind of know is there. Instead leads you to the back. And there's like what appears to be kind of like a broken wardrobe that is like in a pile of just assorted trash and broken bottles, and it's just this like beat up looking wardrobe that's kind of like turned at a side, and he goes over to it, and with a quick series of knocks, almost kind of like a small beatbox, like dot. The wardrobe kind of opens up. Someone pushes it open, and he motions for you all to come inside. It leads you almost kind of like an out-of-the-box style underground treehouse. You see that in this kind of, or almost think of, you guys remember Recess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember, I think it's not Gretchen, was it all the Ashleys who had the like super nice like house in the tire fort? If you remember that, it's very much like walking into there.
Vaguely remember this.
Yes, if you vaguely remember, there's all the popular girls with the same name. I think they were all Ashley. There's 4 of them. And beneath the tire fort, they had like a whole boutique and everything, like super nice, preppy, like mirrors, electricity, and all sorts of shit underneath this. And it's like, You walk into this one, and there's just shit everywhere here. It's like a large, big open room, nice mahogany table at it, all sorts of shit stolen. You see memorabilia from the Church of Bane here. You see what appears to be like a platinum crest stolen from one of the noble houses in a corner, a myriad of like from rusted to finely crafted blades kind of all hang on a like this low chandelier. You see there's like a small bar with all sorts of kind of exotic looking liquors behind it, ranging from like fine decanters to like clay jugs. This just a small kind of a number of like bunk beds off to the side. This kind of like all-purpose room hidden inside this trash heap. As the like door shuts behind you, you can see leaned up against it is kind of a imposing, large-looking half-orc who just kind of grunts and says, "Equars." Nods and, "Don't worry, it's all family business." As he kind of gives each one of you kind of just like that hard ocular pat down. Noticing all of you, eyes kind of lingering on Ovan for a second before Equars takes you down to, this large table. Sits at the head of it, gestures for you, Jasper, to take the right hand table position, and then kind of lets the rest of you pick your seats. As you all sit down, Equars goes over and looks at you, Jasper, and says, "Asking for shelter, showing up with a whole group of people on a busy night. I have a sinking suspicion this ain't just for the nicety of it. What's going on here, Jasper?"
Yeah, unfortunately this isn't a wine and dine situation. We made a good amount of progress on that job regarding the drug problem. We found this Ovan individual in the custody of one Dilius Karamitru.
Yeah, the fucker with the weird mind things and shit that you were looking into, right?
Yeah, he had a full-blown cult house operation going on with several young Zors and Zoras of the city indoctrinated into his bullshit. Turns out he was forcing Ovan to teach them his ways. The drugs and everything were all the doing of Dilius, who is now very dead. Dead as a doornail. We left his corpse in a building that is burning from its foundations. So that's all done with.
Jasper,
That said-
hold on. Are you telling me that you fucking killed Azor and all of his followers and then had the building fucking light on fire in the middle of Molemaster?
Yeah, that wasn't the plan, to be honest. We currently have our friend in the cloaks, going to see what he can do about the seriousness of this particular situation. I brought my companions here because, frankly, until we get that sorted out, there's no safe place for us. And I also brought you, Oban.
You see Equars kind of, is in his regular kind of, hooded cloak and, dark leathers that he's always kind of wearing. He kind of puts both hands on kind of his temples, looks down at the table for a minute. I'm going to be honest with you, that's a real big fuck up. There's going to be consequences to this one, Jasper. It's one thing, you take out a member of the Turning Key out in the middle of the boonies. That's one thing. Get you plenty of street kid. Killing one of the Blade's sons? The rest of his little posse in there, which assuming are more Zors and Zoras? There's going to be a reckoning for this one, Jasper, and I don't know how much we can really shield. We can hide. But if they really come collecting... You ever thought maybe you could get out of the city for a couple days? Maybe go see some relatives somewhere? Because you might want to be out of this city when that shitstorm comes. Because I'm going to tell you, Zoras and Zoras don't forget shit. And they definitely don't forget when their kids get killed.
Yeah, we do have some business outside the city, so perhaps we'll get to doing that. Like I said, this was not the plan. We were backed into a corner by a lot of shit. We fought a griffin tonight, if that gives you any sort of indication. But yeah, if you think it's best, we'll get out of town.
Yeah, I can definitely give you shelter for the night. I can keep an eye on him. Looks over to Oban, who is just sit crisscross applesauce on the seat. Just kind of watching and nodding, and sees Equars look over at him and gives a small wave. Oh, he's one of them fucking cheery types, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a lot cooler with this situation than just about anyone has any right to be.
Oh, so he's fucked up inside. Cool. Got it. Alright, I can keep an eye on him at least, for a little while before we decide what to do with them. Fuck. You the reason I got all the fucking silk root flooding in through my streets? Fucking Ovan? Ovan kind of just looks at him. Drug peddling is not my strongest suit. While I was a part of it, yes, and saw its manufacture, I can say with full honesty that I did not just distribute any of that silk root. Apologize for its inconvenience on you and your people. I hope that you can find some mercy in this situation.
Well,
Was any of
Oban,
that fucking English? Because I don't know if any of that's fucking common. That's a whole lot of words to sound... Is there a translator for this? Is he going to talk like this the whole fucking time? Because I can't understand any of that fucking words.
I could perhaps translate, but I think you'd find it a similar tone.
I think that's actually fucking correct. What was you going to say, Jove?
Well, I know this is family business right here, but something that Ovan is neglecting to mention was not only was there silk root going down there, but there was quite the little bit of the alchemical lab. We saw all sorts of shit, including this, and Jove will pull out that purple potion that he had and put it down on the table and say, not quite sure what that was, but I know that Blades and Zors and all that seem to have just about all sorts of immunity here, but and I don't assume to know how this whole family business works, but there was some real nefarious shit down there, and I don't know, y'all folks trafficking rumors or some sort? Don't you think it might be a bad look for Zora? Wouldn't a Blade not want, I don't know, a lot of information going around town that there was some sort of alchemical lab, lots of drugs? Is there any way that we can help, stoke the flames of maybe this is something that the Blades just want to sweep away? I'm sure vengeance will still be had and wanted, but they were doing some. They had this guy in a cage down there. He was locked. That's the only reason we took him out.
Rumors
yeah, and then
we
there
can
was
fucking
also-
do. Yeah, you're right, Joe. We could definitely do rumors. I'm sorry. What else you got?
Oh well, and just like we saw some of that crazy shit with that house here in the Zent ghetto with all them flames and whatnot. Yeah, there was some of that sort of shit happening down in this, I don't know, little hidey hole that they had under there. All I'm saying is that sure you can burn all that shit out, but if anybody goes poking around there, they're gonna see some real fucked up shit down there. In fact, fire burns hot, but I don't think it's gonna be melting those bars that were down there, much less incinerating bones of a griffin. So all I'm saying is that there could be a little bit of a rumor operation that might be able to at least buy us a little time and make the blades at least take a second before just dropping the hammer.
It's not like I mean, the Karamitru's are kind of on the bottom rung of Zors and Zoras. They're nobody's favorite. So, if it could be swung in the direction of the no good Zor, got all the others into a bad business that literally burned out from under them.
Trying
Would
to
be a
hook
lot
their
better
kids
than a
on
group
drugs.
of mercenaries breaking in and, killing them.
Listen, if you're gonna ask me, which you're asking me, since you're asking me to watch not only yourselves, but this fucker over here, your best option is to not be connected at all. You don't know nothing, you didn't go there, you had nothing to do with that. Lying is the way out of this one. All the way. Lie, and then double down, and lie some fucking more. You don't know anything about that, you have no thing. The last thing that you want is to go to the courts. Because we ain't got no fucking power there. Sure, we might be able to bribe a couple people, but once you out of the Zent ghetto, there ain't no protecting you there. And while you do have a key character witness with Blueberry over there, the courts are not kind to anybody who's not a noble, So if you could stay as far away from this as possible, let them figure that one out and give them nothing, that would be ideal. We can put some rumors out there and help try to make this seem as bad as possible for everybody with some character. But if you're asking me, you guys don't want anything part of this. Because if you go to court, masks off in court. And I can promise you, the courts never lose. They're either going to take all your money, they're either going to take all your money and your hands, or they're going to take all your money, your hands, and then your life. Killing a Zor, no matter what bottom rung it is about as fucking bad as it gets. I think the only thing fucking worse would be trying to take out the High Blade itself, but fucking more power to you if you want to pull that shit off. That's a bad bitch right there, and you don't want to fuck with her.
On the subject of removing our names and presences from this situation, there was someone who got away. A cultist in feathered garb named Jot. Definitely saw us and is definitely just somewhere in Mulmaston now. I doubt he himself has much standing to speak of, but we don't know whose ears he has. So,
A feathered individual by the name of fucking Jot. Well, I'm sure we could keep our eyes and ear out for somebody like that. Make sure that they don't get very far into the Zent ghetto if they seem to make an appearance. However, outside the ghetto, well, luckily I know you guys can take care of yourselves. Just try not to get cornered a second time. So, let me ask the big question, besides, it's not technically regicide. I don't know what it's, an assassination of the nobles? I don't know fucking what to call it. The bigger question is the Silk Road all gone?
if it was If it was all in that complex, it's got to be burned down. I very much doubt there's anything left of it.
Here to confirm that, Ovan?
There may be smaller stores of it throughout the city, those who have the means to cultivate, or perhaps found a seed. So, to eradicate it entirely, I'm uncertain. But the bulk of production would have burned in the fire. I know of another storehouse that you could all perhaps investigate, or, if need be, turn into the proper authorities. It is called Ustiel's Smoke Shop. It is where Thylius spent much of his time, made many deliveries, and came in contact with many of his future students.
If we could point the officials in that direction, that might boost our narrative that this was just a drug operation gone wrong.
What would you have me do during this time period? As I said, I am at your mercy for rescuing me from my captivity. I was hoping my journey to Mulemaster would have been more fruitful. And now I'm at a loss of where to go next.
And what exactly did you look for in Mulemaster?
I was promised from Thylius genealogies of some of the Bloodstone lands. As the Zor and Zora in charge of tax keeping, they have an extensive collection of many of the genealogies and noble houses surrounding this area of the world. We were going to add it to our libraries, of which you know are extensive. That is why I made the trek down to Mulemaster, to bring back that knowledge to the monastery, to complete some of our collections. It is when I was introduced to Thylius's companions, the complex, and was forced into my captivity. So now I am afraid to return to the monastery empty-handed. An embarrassment, one might say.
Embarrassed but alive, at least.
Indeed, given your situation, friend, I would not take that part for granted. You made it through that, and somehow, in some way, Ilmater has seen fit to see you alive. I would not take it lightly.
Well, Ilmater gives us the strength to endure all things. So
Do
I will
not
find the
think
strength
that-
to endure.
Indeed, but do not think that is the end of it. While you may not have had a direct part, this Silk Route that was a part of, it is no joke in what it has done. Think on that in your time that you have here. Sorry, we're speaking our language, as he looks over to the Zetadrim.
Yeah, Equars is just like looking just like one part bewilderment, one part frustration, two parts just annoyed. And just looks over to you, Jasper, and Thieves' Cant. Is this what them fucking monastery types are like? Is that who you spend your time with? Because this seems like a whole lot of bullshit. Like, we're even speaking in code right now, and it makes a hell of a lot more sense than what they're saying right now.
When there's only one of them, this is not usually an issue. Didn't anticipate having two at the same time. So yeah, this is new. This is new.
I fucking hate it. I hate every single part of it. That's why you spend too much time with fucking books.
No arguments here.
All right, so to cut that conversation short for whatever it is the fuck you're talking about, what's your guys' next move here?
We need to wait for our cloak friend to make his way over. You've seen him before, the smug-looking one.
Ah, yeah, Fred
Uh,
Lap.
Yeah. So if y'all can keep an eye out for him and shove him in our direction, we'll get the lowdown on what he's managed to accomplish, and we'll see to it that we get the fuck out of Mole Master for the time being.
I would also recommend that wherever we do go, we say that we left there yesterday. You yourself said, right? We are not connected to anything.
I haven't seen you guys in a 10-day. I have no idea who you are beneath those masks. And if you're asking me, I heard that you guys went down the river Lys towards the Sea of Fallen Stars. If I knew who you were, that is.
Of course, which you don't, and you won't need to, because we went there, being, pointed in that direction by Azora, but we were turned away because we weren't good enough for their little cult, and that was the last of it. So
Seems
we
foolproof
left
to me.
town after that.
Speaking of leaving town, there's one last bit of business before I let you bunk down for the night. And he looks over to Ovan, Rornak, and Jove. You're on family property right now. And I'm going to make it crystal clear for you what that means. You talk about this place. You show other people this place. I hear even an inkling that you know where this is and what's inside of it. I promise the next time you step in the Zent Ghetto will be the last time you step anywhere. And I'm going to make that real clear right now. Luckily, you got this wolf right here vouching for you. Points over to Jasper. And with not one, not two, but 3 successes, I got a lot of faith in that. And so you're good. But don't think that that makes you family. We're going to take care of this because we're going to protect, and puts a hand on you, Jasper, this family right here. But don't you fuck me. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. And I can't remember a place I've never been to, as he nods to him.
Looks over to you, Jove.
Sorry, I was being delivered noodles. Jove smiles a little bit, puts a thumbs up, and says, nothing. He says nothing at all. He just gives the thumbs up, shakes his head.
Then looks over to Ovan. You'll have no worry about my continued stay here. I am known to not take up much space, and I will simply meditate on my former sins and what I can do to provide the mercy that is required for this moment. If you could never fucking speak to me at all, I would be, how would you say it, most appreciative. I think that we could make those arrangements. Stop fucking talking. I cannot stand any of the words that come out of your mouth. And I live in Mole Master. I've dealt with some shit. I run the family. And I still can't understand or fucking stand anything that comes out of your mouth. Okay, I'm gonna go back and run the fucking Black Blade. Good job, Jasper. The Silk Route's a big deal. Messier than we intended, but we've weathered worse storms.
Thank you, Equus.
I told you. We look out for each other in the family.
She nods.
Hey, Brute. Yeah. These guys may enter and exit as they please. If it's not me, the only other person that can walk in here besides myself is going to be that young cloak. I'm not happy about it, But that's the part we gotta play if we're gonna keep this running. Anybody else, I don't fucking care who it is. I don't even care if it's those fucking vipers that are supposed to be on their way. Nobody but that party and me goes to this door. Yeah, you got it, Equars. Don't even worry about it. Thanks, bro. Alright. Don't touch any of the green bottles over there. I swear to God, if you get into any of those green bottles, the things I had to do to steal that were enormous. Everything else is not also fair game. In fact, don't even fucking touch that bar. Don't touch none of that shit there. You want a drink, you come out and get it like everybody else. I swear to God, don't you fucking touch any of that booze back there. I means it. Even you, and looks over to you, Jasper. I mean it. None of that shit. It's for special occasions, and this is not one of them.
Yeah, I don't need my senses being dulled right now, so we're good on that front.
Hey, you mind if I smoke in here, Equars?
What? No, I don't give a fuck if you smoke in here. That's fine. Just don't touch any of those bottles there. You come get drinks like everybody else.
Pleasure as always, Equars.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. He takes another kind of like deep breath and he's like, all right. See, he's like getting his shit together after receiving all of that news and understanding the risk that is being taken right now. Okay. We got this. Back at it, you fuckers, and exit out through the wardrobe. Kind of brute the large half-orc individual kind of shuts it, locks it, sits, kind of leans up against it. Doesn't seem to pay you guys kind of much attention. Keeps one ear placed directly up against the side of the door. You can see he's got a fucking huge great axe. Like, it's an impressive feat that he managed to get that fucker through the door. Much less that he has any audacity of trying to swing it in here. You guys have a moment to yourselves. Would you like to say anything before we switch over to the Tower of Arcane Might?
Just one more thing, Ovan. I know you were sitting down there in the cage. Was it your friend Thylius that was doing all the alchemical mixing down there?
I gave guidance to Thylius through his alchemical endeavors. Many of the monks, I'm sure, Rornak over here could attest to many of us study the alchemical ways. There are no stores near the monastery, so any remedies must be made in-house. And with
what kind of remedy is this?
That is not a remedy at all. That is acid, my friend. I would not consume that or open that unless you are intending to use it.
Is this like throw it at somebody kind of acid, or like put on a weapon kind of acid, or what?
I would use it in more of a ranged weapon format. You may find that your melee weapon does not survive the encounter.
Sounds like acid. Well, welcome to the shit, buddy.
Thank you for welcoming me to the shit.
And with that, I think that's a good end to the scene.
As you kind of make yourselves at home in kind of this Zenitrim hideout, we switch over to Freddy. You have made your way to the Tower of Arcane Might. You enter in through your invisibility, still going strong until you pass those two stone giants, and then, like walking over a barrier, it's just like you walk out of your invisibility as you enter the courtyard. Knowing that you still had probably a solid 15-20 minutes left on that spell. What are you going to do here, Freddy?
I guess I just go to Nevlon.
You...
I know I need to meet back up with my party, so I want to get done as fast as possible.
Yeah, you head up through the towers, past your own quarters, heading up one of the major towers, and here to Neville and Dejuan's room. You knock on the door. The door opens, as it always does. You see Nevlon is in kind of like nightgown, big like Charles Dickens style nightcap, like hanging off the side. Cup of tea in one area, big quill. The room kind of lit up in magical dancing lights that kind of hover and go around as he appears to be engaged in some large scroll at this point. Less of a tome, more of a scroll. Ah, Freddy. I assume you've come with an update that will be both worrying and impressive all at the same time.
They always are.
Yes, you're nothing if not consistent.
Where did I leave?
I believe your last foray was your recent excursion below Molemaster, past the sewers into the Underdark to deal with that earthen cyst, where you halted in an attempt at what I believe you described as a orb of The word eludes me for the moment. But I believe that is where you last left off. It cost the life of your party member Rornak, for which the senior cloak had to revive him. And your barkeep's bosom buddy was also slain. I believe that is where we last left off.
So, me and my folks have been investigating this. It's kind of like a cult, kind of like a drug ring. And it seems like they are targeting nobles. And when they got the hint that I was a cloak, they started targeting me. So they're targeting. How do I want to say this? Negotiable cloaks into whatever they were doing. So we've been investigating into that. That's probably something that we don't want around, is it?
It would look poorly had one of our members been swayed into such illicit means, both in occults and drug peddling. This drug that you speak of, what is it? Brown Sood, Knight's Veil, Dragon Blood.
You know, one of my friends was more into looking into the drugs thing. You know, I'm just looking out for what would make our city look best and trying to protect the people.
Of
I
course,
think he
illegal
was saying that-
spellcasters.
Yes, that's my main focus for sure.
As it should be for all cloaks. Of course. Well done, Freddy.
I believe he said it was something like a root of silk, silky root.
Ah, Silk Root, yes. Also known as Knight's Veil. We have seen a uncharacteristically large amount of it. It's a non-native drug to even our planet. All of Toro. So to see it in such large numbers was quite worrying, but mostly seemed to have affected the lower classes of Molemaster, so it hadn't been given much thought. But you're now saying that
They're targeting,
nobles
yeah,
and
they're targeting higher folk.
impressionable cloaks. That is
Yeah.
worrying.
So, I mean, we can take care of it. Consider it done.
Yes, what is the current findings of your investigation? Have you successfully infiltrated this drug cult?
Well, I told you they figured out I was a cloak, so they really wanted me in there. They kind of gave me a tour and showed me around, and definitely some sketchy stuff. And that's how I could tell that they had the nobles as well. I couldn't really recognize any faces, but you know how the nobles have an air about them.
It is true, nobles do have that air, but it would behoove you to learn their faces. You never know who you may run into, and nobles are loath to forget. But you've been shown around this complex, performed what sounds like to be a rather thorough investigation. What are your next steps?
Hope that they don't know that I'm trying to do something about them. I don't think they wanted me to leave there. After I left, there was a monster that chased me and my group. Well, we took care of it, but I mean, that's just another thing that's gonna be danger towards the city and cloaks and nobles alike that they try to get in over there. Seemed like if you don't get in, you don't really get out.
Well, an attack on a cloak does require retaliation of equal measure.
Equal measure,
Indeed.
right?
So, when will you be storming this complex?
You know, I think the first chance we get, like I said earlier, consider it done. Like, I feel like when you're dealing with all this stuff going on, these folk aren't really something that my party really would even have to worry about. They all seem kind of hoity-toity and not really the fighting type. So I think if we get the jump on them, I think it'll be snip snap. The place will be up in flames. Like, I don't even know. I feel like it shouldn't be a problem.
Freddy, roll me. You may take your pick between a persuasion or a deception check in this moment.
Okay. I'm gonna take persuasion. Or I hate when D&D Beyond cocks the die. It's like, what is that? Okay, so that's a 17.
17. Nevlon kind of looks at you and nods, thinks for a moment. Well, if you and your party can handle these affairs, then you have your full sanction to continue on. However, who is leading this cult? You said it was a number of nobles, which may complicate matters were you to go for a full frontal assault.
Again, that's something that one of my party members was looking more into. I was just trying to protect the people. I'm not good with names, as we've already been over. His name, he said it to me. Thamian, Thavis,
Thamian
Or-
Thavis.
something like that. I don't.
Roll me a deception check there, Freddy.
I 9.
Do you perhaps mean Thylius Karamitru?
That's the name. You got it. Thylius.
You see Nevlon just watch posture stiffen. His gaze becomes more intense. You're saying that the scion of one of the blades of the city is running a cult and peddling drugs to other nobles. They requested that you join them. They showed you a tour and allowed you to leave, sent monsters out to attack you and your party, and now you are planning to storm Azor's private complex.
Yeah.
That brings up a number of legal challenges. As Azor, that property is theirs. Can you prove that Thylius sent these creatures after you?
Not necessarily prove. I mean, of my party, I was the one that drank the tea, and it was going for my stomach. There was like a tea that they made for their thing. I didn't want to raise any suspicions, so I kind of played along. I drank the tea, and that's kind of what it went after.
Unfortunately, that is not enough for a conviction. And since it is simply your words of a cloak versus a blade of the city. However, dastardly, I cannot sanction this. You and your party may not go forward with the assaults. That is a private Zor properties. Now, we may bring it, and if you can prove that such illicit, perhaps even illegal spellcasting is happening, then we may be sanctioned. But were you to continue in your current course of action, you would be taken to court, and even your status as a cloak would not protect you.
What if giving this information to another party, like a lesser group, such as like the Blades, or obviously the Blades wouldn't do anything, but what's the Brotherhood that
Are you speaking of the Hawks?
No, I wouldn't talk to the Hawks.
The soldiery?
I guess I could tell the soldiery, but what I'm saying is, what if I just told another group, and what if they got mad about it, did something about it? Then I wouldn't be in trouble, right? Because I just told them the truth.
If another group were to trespass and assault a Zor of the city, they would face the consequences.
Well, then I
While
guess
you would
that's my
be
mission now.
absolved of direct interference, it may not protect you from the comeuppance of the Karametrus were they to discover who led them and the falling of their son. This is very difficult waters, and one that is unfortunately all too common for cloaks. Were it just a noblewoman or nobleman, it would be one thing, but blades of the city, that is more difficult. Our hands are tied, unless you can prove without a sliver of a doubt that illegal casting or the endangerment of other nobles is happening. Our hands are tied here, Fred. We cannot just go trespassing into Zor's properties and kicking down doors. Though we do have the magical means to do so, the laws are ironclad. I would request that you put this issue to bed, lest you have some sort of testimony besides just yourself. Do you have any proof? A ledger? A lead? Somewhere that we could make these accusations stick?
I can get a testimony from someone.
Then secure their testimony. Bring me something concrete, Freddy, and you will be given the pass to root out this cult.
Oh, that was a good pun.
Thank you.
You're getting on the green thumb pun.
I wrote down specifically that list of puns and have been studying it extensively. However, I haven't found any historical roots to it. I do know that nomenclature can morph and change with time. It's a fascinating study of linguistics, I will tell you. But my linguistic fascinations aside, what are your next moves, young Fred?
My next moves are to go get that testimony and I don't know, maybe convince some other groups to take some action.
Then I will lead you in charge of this investigation of Thyles Karametru, the smuggling and distribution of Silkroot, which is illegal in the city. If you can prove so, the attempted assault on a member of the Brotherhood of the Cloak, and the adulteration, deception, endangerment of other Zors and Zors of the city. Now that would be more than enough to justify you approaching and taking Thyles into custody. Then we could get the law on our side.
Right. Okay. Yeah, consider it done.
Well, then, I will lead you to it. Return when you have completed your investigation. I will begin putting the proper pieces into place. One way or another, we will have to have a day in court because of this. When it comes to Zors and Zoras, it always ends that way. Make sure you have your formal clothes ready.
I definitely have a pair of formal clothes, and I will definitely have them ready.
Excellent. Well, good luck, young Clotlap. It is always a interesting time when you report back to me. I would have enough to fill a tome, but, well, I believe you remember quite well what happened when the Hawks last visited our brotherhood.
Yeah.
Well,
I leave.
the door shuts behind you. You see Nevlon gets up and starts grabbing some like fresh parchments, a new quill, and begins doing the business, the legal end of this investigation. As you leave the Tower of Arcane Might, where are you headed to, Freddy?
Oxpit Tavern.
Head to the Oxpit Tavern. You make it to the Oxpit Tavern. It's late. Most of the crowd has kind of died down. Crewmeg is kind of almost half asleep at the bar. Looks like it's been kind of a heavy night. You see June. Ah, Freddy. Just you? I haven't seen the rest of your party around today.
Yeah, it's not usually normal for me to get here first, but I mean, this is where we come to meet up, so.
Well, can I get you a drink while you wait?
Sure. How about something fiery?
Yeah, something fiery. Got some. Are you a fan of Dwarven whiskey?
I wasn't the last time, but taste buds change.
Let's find out if they've changed. And he gets you a small glass, gives you 2 fingers of Dwarven whiskey, pours himself one. Hey, now that I got you for a moment, can I ask you something over this drink? Besides the question to ask the question. I realize as I
Yeah.
said it, that's misnomer.
Yeah, I mean, the drink isn't necessary. You can always ask me anything.
Well, you know that I was close with Fergus, even though it'd been some time.
Uh-huh.
And his death really weighs on me. And finally, starting to get all the pieces put together to get him sent home. One thing that does kind of bother me. Fergus hasn't been without that necklace around his neck in over 30 years. And you were able to bring back all of his other stuff except that necklace, so I gotta really ask. Do you or one of your party members have Fergus's necklace?
Yes.
I thought so. I would like that back. A lot. If you wouldn't mind.
I'll do my best.
Thank you, Freddy. It would mean a lot to me. I know it's just a necklace to some, but... Well, that body in my cold keep is just a body. That necklace feels more like connected to Fergus than what's left of him. And quite frankly, I can't bear the thought of someone else having that. It's been weighing heavy on my soul for a bit. I asked Rornak about it, but he's just kinda... He's not Mole Master. He's soft. He's kind. Traits that don't do well in this city. But I knew if I asked you, you'd play it to me straight. I'm assuming you don't have it.
Well, the
Rornak certainly doesn't have it.
conversation would already be over if I had. I would just give it to you, but
I figured.
I don't have a use for it.
I mean, it's either Jove or Jasper.
Oh, I have other friends.
Do you really, though?
Sure.
Roll me a deception check.
Nat 20 for a 25.
Oh my god. They just go to a different school, okay?
Well, you're right. Just because I only see you with those people don't mean you have more friends on your own. However, I think it would be kind of weird if any of those other friends who went down into that place with my now dead friend happened for you to hand over that necklace to them. That seems kind of like a stretch, don't you think?
I mean, you can infer what you infer.
Well, when they get here, I'll be asking for that necklace back.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw with that whiskey there.
Four.
Oh, with a 4, Freddie, you drink this kind of little off-put by this conversation, not really expecting it, and also with the news from Nevlon and just the implications of what's just happened kind of weighing on you. You slam that bitch back, and it's just as bad the second time, except this time you go straight to hammered. It just weighs on you like a dwarven hammer strike. Not enough to make you throw up, but immediately you feel just like that sobriety, foom, out the window. You sit and you wait for your party. The better part of an hour. 2 hours goes by. Freddy still hasn't made his appearance yet. You start getting the thought that, and I'm not going to have you guys roll insight on this one, I'm just going to say it, that you're currently in a hidden Zenitrim hideout in the middle of the Zent Ghetto, hoping that Freddy will be able to put the pieces together to go over, find the Black Blade hidden away in the Zent Ghetto, and then find the hidden away spot around there. Jasper, I'll say that you don't trust your brother enough to make all those connections happen. So after the second hour goes through, you're
She
like,
does not.
fuck.
After those 2 hours, she's like, she looks at the others. How much would y'all be willing to bet me that he's sitting in the Oxpit Tavern right now?
A lot. That would have been my second suggestion, honestly.
Alright, well, I think I'm the only one with a different look I can pull out, so I'm not recognized by Jot or anyone else who knows what went on tonight, so I'll slip on my other cloak and mask and go see if I can't get that idiot.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. No need to draw us all out there. So, plus you're the one with the connection here, and I don't want to, Equars is doing us a favor, so I'll play by his rules.
Hey, Brute,
Yeah.
my friends are gonna sit here nice and calm like while I run out and grab our idiot friend.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. And he begins to and unlocks the wardrobe and allows you to step out onto the city steps and begin.
Before she does, she'll swap the cloak and mask for the big gray, like tan cloak and the smiling snake mask.
You make a quick outfit change while you're waiting for Brute to open the door. You head back onto the streets of Mulemaster, snaking your way through the Zent ghettos, and making your way to the Oxpit Tavern. Roll me a stealth check.
17.
17. Yeah, you sneak your way through the city, shadowed corner to shadow corner, using this kind of moonless nights and hiding the shadows of the lamplights that dot Mulemaster. You make your way to the Oxpit Tavern. You enter in, and you just see Freddy just like got that like just hammered look. He's got like one hand, holding his head up. You see an empty glass next to him, just kind of sitting there. Crewman kind of looks up and locks eyes with you. Jasper?
She waves at him but moves towards her brother.
Let me head over to Freddy and find him in a drunken state.
Do you really think tonight's the best night to get hammered? Freddy?
I was muted. Yeah.
Well, I can't say that doesn't track. But we're kind of in some shit right now. What happened with your cloak friends?
Not good. We're probably gonna be in a lot of trouble unless we can like really talk our way into out of stuff.
What, like evidence that they were fucking crazy over there?
Yeah, that's the easy part. Because I assume if we can get Ovan to do any kind of testifying, then having him there would definitely be some concrete evidence that of all that was going on over there, because he was being held captive. The harder part is explaining why the property of a Zor got burnt down.
Oh, we didn't have anything to do with that. That wasn't us. They turned us away after we spoke to them, and that was that. They sent a monster after us. Listen, we from Ovan, he told us that there's a like secondary warehouse type situation at a place called Ustil Smoke Shop. Maybe point your friends in that direction and hope they find what they need to find there. But yeah, we weren't involved in what happened. That needs to be crystal clear.
Okay.
And it'd probably be best if we leave the city like tomorrow. I mean, the sooner the better, but you know. We gotta separate ourselves from this as much as possible. Like, you know, it was a drug house with an alchemical shop under it. Who's to say it didn't just catch fire on its own damn self and took them all with it?
It's true.
So, you're gonna act like you're doing your due diligence. And then you're gonna tell your friends that you gotta go out of town for a job that we already had lined up. And let them deal with the fallout of the drug house burning itself down.
Okay.
Unless you feel like you got a better idea over there.
Well, there's no good ideas. But I mean, I think that's all we can do right now is just try and distance ourselves.
As you guys have this conversation, Rornak comes up, sorry, not Rornak. Crewmeg comes up. Hey there, Jasper.
Hey, Crewmeg. How's business?
Slow, but it's, this late at night. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear any of what you just said and play real dumb. And you're gonna hand me that necklace. He holds out a hand to you.
Sounds like a deal. And she pulls it off her neck and hands it to him.
I appreciate that.
We
Well, I haven't seen you both in a couple of days, it's crazy. I haven't seen hide or hair of Freddy or the Odd Jobs or anything. Boy, it'd be so crazy if they were just to leave and put 5 gold on the table to cover their old tabs. And then nobody's seen them. Crazy.
She'll produce 5 gold.
Takes the gold, pours one last Dwarven whiskey for Freddy, and then fucks off for a little bit.
Alright, well, that's our cue. Do you want to bother telling your cloak friends about the smoke shop, or do you want to just meet up with our pals and get out of here?
Yeah, I think the smoke shop is going to be necessary to cover our tails as much as possible. Because if they go there and they see it, then that's all the evidence that they're going to need. As long as it can be connected to what was going on over at the mansion.
Yeah, just tell them we would do it ourselves, but we've got prior obligations. So if they're interested in evidence, there it is.
And then where am I meeting you?
Does Zent Ghetto, the Black Blade, it's a big fucking ramshackle building. Looks like a lot of other buildings put together. There's an alley behind it that has a trash heap with a wardrobe sticking out of it. Knock on the wardrobe and you'll be let inside.
Sounds like I'm a secret agent.
No, I'm the secret agent. You're the secret agent. Dumb brother.
I don't know. It sounds like I'm a cloak working with this underground organization. It sounds pretty secret agent to me.
Well, whatever you want to say to yourself.
And I can make my own theme music. So who's the real secret agent?
Make me a performance check for theme music.
Theme music. 22.
Oh, fucking crunk theme music. You've got like a small spectral Johnny that peers out, like who's got going from shoulder to shoulder, using Freddy's like neck as coverage to like really complete the whole thing. Like Freddy's the crunk, and then or Freddy's the crunk, and then it's like Johnny's both the angel and the devil on his shoulder.
Amazing.
I spawn 3 Johnnies at once, and they like peek around a corner, and they do the like Scooby-Doo thing where they have like their heads stacked on top of each
Yes.
other.
As we finish, that last session was the most Scooby-Doo style thing we've ever done. I mean, went into a creepy old complex led by somebody who is clearly the monster in a mask, just the mask of a noble person. And then you lit the whole thing on fire, even went behind a secret bookcase into the old mansion and fought people in masks. So, I mean, pretty much a Scooby-Doo classic Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo episode. The mystery.
My favorite part of the Scooby Doo episodes was when the drug cartel blew up underground and caused the whole place to burn down.
It's my favorite Scooby-Doo
Yeah.
episode. It's where I got the inspiration for this module.
The meth lab blew up. Yeah.
Yeah, Scooby Doo and the Silk Route Cult. Yeah, we
Yeah.
all watched it.
Yeah,
Slash
absolutely.
human traffickers.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Jasper just shakes her head at your antics and walks out.
Yeah,
And then
I don't
as
think
you're
I can
walking,
bother
Jasper,
guys.
you also hear it, like you start humming in your own head, just.
It's fucking catchy, but
It was really catchy. It just plays in your head, and you find that like your steps are matching the beat of it, and you're like trying to step and like stutter step yourself off, and
stealthing across the city.
in time.
Yeah, amazing.
Every time you like stop, you just can't help it. Rings through your head. As you make your way back to the Zent Ghetto, Freddy, you head over to the Tower of Arcade Mites. I assume you just go up to Nevlon just once.
Yeah.
Freddy, so soon. Why am I
Yeah,
not surprised?
Well, because I kind of left, not really sure what I was doing, but I know now.
Then what are you doing, young cloak?
So, Jasper informed me that someone else in our group has a job that we have to do like tomorrow, because we're trying to get like all of our loose ends tied before the upcoming gallery.
Ah, yes. Fucking headache. And it's like one of the first times you hear Nevlon just want like actually cuss, just like lets it out and immediately
Yeah.
poises himself.
So yeah, we're trying to tie up our loose ends because we all have obligations for that, as everybody does in town for some reason. I guess it's just going to be a town-wide thing.
When all the
Then-
blades decide to do something, then all of Mole Master has to get behind it. Just the pure frustration and, and just tiredness of dealing with blades.
And you know what they say: the deeper the roots, the firmer the hold. You know what I'm saying? Those blades.
I
go
do,
real deep.
I do. That's actually one that I have here. Deep of the roots, the heart of the hole. That's a real one.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got a loose end to tie up, so we're gonna be taking care of that. But in talking with our contact, it seems like there's also some drug operations that I don't know if you have any operatives available that they can just look into at the smoke shop.
Yes. Which smoke shop would that be?
The one that Jasper told me.
Who steals?
Who steals?
Blue Steels.
Oh my god. You
Who
fucking
steals?
bastard.
I'm bad with names.
Roll me an insight check.
And check. 14.
A 14. You're like, Blue Steels. Wait, no, that's fucking dumb for a smoke shop. Ooh, Steels. Smoke shop. Steels smoke shop. Oh, a Steel Rodix. Ah, yes, where the young nobles gather to talk about philosophy and theory and make a performance of themselves. He says it very carefully. Yes, I believe we do have some cloaks who could investigate this. I believe he pulls out kind of a kind of like a ledger and starts going through it. Where are those names? I had names for this. Alder / Ryan. What's the name of your best friend?
I feel so bad. It's been so long.
It's
I have to
Ellison.
go through my notes.
It's Ellison.
Ellison. Yes, that's right. I knew it started with an E.
Yes.
Forgive me, Ellison.
Yeah, I say okay. It's been a while since we've had Ellison make an appearance.
Yeah.
Cloak Ellison is currently available. I will have him make the investigation towards you. Ustil Rodic smoke shop.
Oh, that nerd?
Yes, he is equal rank to you, and quite adept in combat magic, as well as a surprising organizational mind. He has reorganized a vast majority of our library. His system of storing things is unique.
Nerdy, yeah. I use nerdy as a term of endearment. Believe me.
I would hope
Uh,
so. You are a cloak. Knowledge and the execution of knowledge is the highest virtue.
I totally agree.
Make me a deception check.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, nerds are cool. Yeah.
I never said nerds are cool.
With knowledge is cool. You know?
That's a 15.
A 15.
That knowledge is the coolest thing.
I'll roll for. Don't be rude, young lap.
Dang.
As he rolls a 16 flat with the insight. Don't be rude, young cloak. I know that Ellison does not always sit right with you. He
Although
is.
he's the best friend I have here. Again, don't get me wrong. I do use nerd as a term of endearment. That's not a joke. You just misunderstand what I mean by nerd. It's just not how I roll. I'm more of the like musical type. Like knowledge is great and all, but at the end of the day, like the workings of magic are what intrigue me, not necessarily the facts and stuff.
Wonderful. Well, Cloak Ellison will indeed be leading the investigation to a still smoke shop, and will try to uncover evidence of Thylius Karamitru's underhanded dealings. I hope this proves successful. We could then move on the compound, get full sanctions, and with the law on our side, you would be well within your rights to enact a retaliation, especially, and whilst in the court of law it wouldn't be believed, I believe you, Freddy, that Thylius is behind that recent attack. I believe every word of it. Now, if only the courts could get behind it. So, we still smoke shop, and where will you be heading for the foreseeable future?
All that I know is that it's out of town. For activities that are not mine, I kind of just go with the flow. Kind of like how I drag them along to all my cloak business. I don't really tell them exactly why or what we're doing, but they're there for me, so I gotta be there for them.
Companionship and the respect of those relationships is an important trait. I do not besmirch you for leaving it, and this will gather us time to put together a case against Thylius. It may actually turn out to be quite the boon, so continue on your adventure. Try not to come back with any dead party members, or at the very least yourself.
We'll see.
Well,
You know.
I'm not gonna promise, but I'm gonna try my best.
well then, good luck. I will begin the preparations for investigation into the smoke shop. And he leans over into kind of a glow. Would you please rouse Cloak Ellison and have him come to my chambers? He has work.
Yeah. Oh, and in our research on the Silk Route, sometimes some of the creation process can be a little volatile. So I'm gonna make sure to warn him about that. But I think that should be in the debriefing for anybody that's raiding this operation. Just to be careful.
Volatile alchemicals. Ellison does have a penchant for fire magic. That should be well noted. Alchemical tables can be quite volatile. It would be such a shame for it to explode and erase any evidence.
Yeah, that would be a big shame.
Of course, it would be like
fire magic is not the way to go, especially if there's any like hay and bed mats around.
exactly. Of course, only a fool would use such magics in that area. Could you imagine?
You know what they say? Once one tree's on fire, the whole forest might as well be.
Need to add that one down. Once one tree is on fire, the whole forest is on fire.
May as well be.
May as well be on fire.
Not actually, but it might as well be because soon enough it's kind of like it's inevitable type of thing. Sparks fly.
I believe you're mixing your analogies. I don't know if that one works as well as, Deep Roots. That one was far, far superior. But we're not here to talk.
Good,
Well, we're not here to talk
but
about
they all hold true.
puns. There is a moment later. There's a knock on the door as you see Allison, bleary-eyed, kind of in just like thrown his cloak robes over whatever like evening wear he was wearing. A little bit just looks like he ran here as fast as he could, wiping the dust from his eyes. And yeah, Cloak Nevlon just won. You called for me? Ah, yes, Cloak Ellison. Freddy here has ordained us with the lead into an investigation, which I will then be transferring over to you for the time being. Your mission is to investigate Usteel Rodik's smoke shop and discover any sort of evidence of illegal drug peddling, of coercion or endangerment of nobles, and plots of general discordance throughout the city. I have been told here by Cloak Lap that alchemical tables and such may be involved, so you will be warned from using fire magic. No fire magic? That's... Okay, yeah. What else do I need to know about this one, Freddy?
I mean, I haven't had too much experience with any of it. I've just come into contact with the people that are making it, and they're not the best people. And I haven't even been to this location. I went to more of a main base for them. This is more of a side operation that's just kind of helping. But I trust the nerdiest to get that investigation done.
Oh, well, thanks, Freddy. That means a lot. And if you don't like him, don't think I'm trustworthy, then I believe you. Then I'm right on it. So, no fire magic. Investigate. This is the main storehouse. Evidence collecting. Got it. I need to update my spell book. Is there anything else you need from me, Cloak de Juan? Quite the contrary, young Ellison. If you need anything from me or your fellow cloaks, you need but ask. I will be expecting a full report by the end of tomorrow. Yes, sir, you got it. And as Ellison kind of turns to leave, kind of leans over to you. Thanks for the work. I was kind of getting bored in those tomes all the time. It's been a while since I've gotten out there, so thanks, Freddy.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna do work, you gotta get started. You know what they say. You gotta plant the seed for the crop to grow.
Oh my god.
Are you from Flan? Is that how you know that one? Because nothing grows here in Mulemaster. That's a Flan saying through and through.
I'm not from Flan, but I did spend a large chunk of time over there.
Ah, that's why. You know that all those gardening references are from Flan, right, Senior Cloak Nevlon? What? Yeah, those are Flan sayings. No wonder I couldn't find any linguistic cards. Of course, across the moon sea. Note to self. It reaches into them. Pull me the linguistic histories of the region of Flan. Specifically, herbology references.
I must have gotten it mixed up because I went over to Flan pretty young, and I must have just thought I got it from Mulemaster.
Hey, I get it. Those sayings are really good. Once you heard them once, it just feels like they come from anywhere. I mean, they work in all levels of life. I mean, yeah.
You know what they say, the wind carries the pollen, and you get plants everywhere.
I believe the actual saying is that the wind holds no barriers. But, that's close enough.
That sounds more nerdy. Mine gets the point across.
Well, mine's actually correct, so. Good luck on your work, buddy. And Ellison heads out.
Good luck on your books.
Ellison looks back and is like, you know what? It's not doing it. Not doing it. Decides to bet it on it. And she turned around, was like, you saw that kind of fire that builds up in Ellison at times. So like, hey, you know what? I've got work to do. I don't fucking books. And
All right, Nevlon. This time I'm leaving for good. You can actually like go to bed now.
oh, young Cloaklat, there's too much to do for sleeping. And you see that, like, he kind of claps his hands together. The dancing lights shoot to kind of 3 corners of the room. The whole thing lights up. He starts pulling books down and scrolls out. And Nevlon is getting worked up as he begins diving deep into a combination of the investigation into Ustil Smoke Shop, the Karamitru family, and tracing the linguistics of Flan's puns and sayings rather than Mole Master's.
Important.
Of course. As Nevlon continues this rabbit hole of figuring out where all of these sayings and puns come from, you make your way back to the Zent Ghetto. You go past, you can see there are 2 City Watch. They look like they have a bunch of little footprints and hand marks all on them. They look rather bruised, as they are trying to share a drink and patch themselves up of what looks like a small stampede. They hardly give you any notice. One does look up and sees you in your cloak attire and just kind of shakes his head and continues to take a swig off this drink and help his buddy, move his armor around to get it fitting back. And you can see that, like, part of the armbands are on the wrong sides. It looks like whatever was on their belts have been cut, that they've been pretty fleeced recently. Barely have just like their armor and their weapons on them. It's 1 flask. As you head into the Zent, go ahead and give me your choice, survival or insight.
Okay. Well, they're both a +0. We'll do survival for 8.
For 8, you get very lost in the Zent ghettos. You haven't spent a ton of time here. You're definitely not in the middle of the night. As you kind of come around the corner, you see kind of a group of 3 older-looking human males, all wearing a patchwork of leathers, some bits of armor, bandages. You can see some pox marks on one face. One's got an eye patch. Just very rough-looking individuals, and they kind of step out. Hey, you lost there, young cloak? Did you need some assistance, perhaps?
Yeah. I'm looking for a trash pile.
Oh, you're in the Zent Ghetto, buddy. You're in the trash pile. So you found it.
Good. I don't need any help. Then I'll just be on my way.
I think that you might need some assistance. What do you think, boys? And they all kind of like nod and take a step forward. Why don't you come spend some time with us for a minute?
Okay.
They kind of lead you into this back alley off the main roads. I think that's good enough. Why don't you go ahead and hand us all your gold now?
No.
Oh, is that so? Well, then I guess we'll just be taking your gold then. And as they begin to leer down on you, you feel a rough pair of hands grab from behind you. And then another on your left. And another on your right. As this kind of eye-patched individual gets real down close to you. You got anything else but gold on you? Anything we should know about? Anything worth our time?
I mean, you already know the answer to that question.
There's a loud thud as he strikes you across the face. Take 3 points of bludgeoning damage. You're smart. That's dumb. He goes down and he starts ruffling through. What do you have in your inventory right now, Freddy?
when he hits me, I'm gonna whip the staff of charming out and do do I want to do a command or a charm person? Probably a command.
Okay, command.
Yeah, command.
What do you command?
That's what I'm trying to come up with. Um. Hmm. What do I command? I guess I'm gonna command trip.
With a 5, he listens to your command and trips forward. Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw. 18. Yeah, he like walks forward, just immediately like his own feet kick out from underneath him, and he just trips forward, knocks into the second individual here who is holding on to you. They make the dexterity saving throw. They do not. Knocking them both over, you are freed for the moment. What do you do?
Did they take the gold off me before they hit me?
They have not yet. They were rummaging through, seeing your gold purse, seeing kind of like about to go through your backpack, looking at your loot. You know, they don't even take a look at your spell book. You assume it's because they can't read.
Let me see. As an action, I can do that. Okay. I'm gonna start cheesing it. And then, like, as I start running away, I'm gonna be turned away from them as I'm running, and I'm going to do a Song of Creation and make a really fancy looking medallion that looks like it costs about 80 gold pieces, let's say.
And what do you do with it?
I turn back and I say, "It's a pretty good ploy, boys. You could take this as consolation," and I'm gonna toss it back to them.
You toss it back, the one as you begin running from this alley. The individual that tripped gets up and begins to bark at the others to go after you, but the two of them immediately pounce on this medallion. And you can see the one that you tripped like makes out to the alley and says, "What would he say in this moment?" Freddy, what languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, and Infernal.
You hear an infernal, a choice set of cuss words. Absolute, like, and it's like someone who has overheard this and only picked out where it's like, "Hey, I speak some Spanish," and you're just like, "Oh, what do you know?" You're like, "Pinche wey cabrón, pendejo," and you're just like, "Fuck, bro." It's just that we're just like, they're trying to be as shitty as possible, and those are all curse words in Infernal, which Infernal has many of them. It's an actual, like, an entire vocabulary. It's just all the shitty things you could say in Infernal, and they're very creative with it. And it's just, like, slam it together, cobble salad style, of just, like, the equivalent of, like, "I hope Bane fucks your mom," and at the same time, "I hope your mom spawns, like, a demon baby to hit you with it." Like, it's just fucking nonsense words. But it is just, like, this broken Infernal. As you begin running down the streets, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Passive 11.
Passive 11. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Another 4.
You feel the one level of exhaustion kick in as you round about, and with your passive 11, you do run by kind of a low squat hodgepodge building with a black blade sticking on top of it. You run past it and make a left. You're panting heavily from just running full speed, trying not to get caught, and you do see in the behind this establishment kind of like what looks like a broken bedouin, like dresser almost. You run up to it and then there's slight moments as like you're waiting, listening. You hear the sounds of footsteps rapidly approaching, and you hear a crink, crink, crink. The door opens and you're met with a half-orc, strong-jawed, huge fucking battle axe. Hey, are you the cloak?
And I show him my necklace.
They're expecting you. And it kind of moves to the side, allows you to squeeze past them down into the aforementioned kind of hideout of the Xenotrim as he shuts the boudoir behind you and locks it. You can never hear so faintly just some more cursing and infernal, and I hope you boys like that dumb fucking medallion. We could have had so much more. As the individuals that were chasing you kind of get down that alley, you hear them kind of bicker for a while before they start moving back out. The rest of you see like the door open. Freddy like runs in. You see he's got like some slight bruising on one side of his face, breathing heavily, just fucking sweating bullets. As the rest of the party, you guys are, like, on the bunk beds, and Jove is smoking his pipe, and Ovan and Rornak are, like, meditating, and Jasper, I assume, you're pacing, as you do.
She was, yes.
As you see Freddy just, like, run in here, you hear Brute shuts the door and locks it behind him, so you have all finally reconvened.
Dom, if those guys try and pawn off the medallion, it does last for 2 hours. So, if they pawn it off the next 2 hours, they'll get their money for it, and then the shopkeeper's left with the medallion after.
Oh, I think we both know that they're not smart enough to pawn that out fast enough.
Okay. Well, yeah, then they're left with no medallion.
They will, 2 hours later, there's an angry yell somewhere in the Zent ghettos.
Audible through the whole ghettos.
Yeah, just fuck! 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 It's like pans out farther and farther away from Mole Master, goes all the way to like Jove's hidey hole, and where there's like a single bird who just hears, fuck! It just, and flies away.
I didn't know that Fetch lived in the Zen ghetto.
Oh my god.
Good reference. So party, you have reconvened. It is late. We're talking probably 3 in the morning at this point. You have a little bit of time to chat before sleep is necessary.
You doing alright, Freddy? You look a bit ragged.
Yeah, Nevelon didn't take too kindly to me not jumping on the whole Silk Group business myself, but such is the business. We move on, we live, we laugh, we love.
Oh, everything's okay though? Like, no red flags?
No, I think all the flags there are blue.
Great.
Cool.
So am I to assume you told the fucking crew Meg about the necklace?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, apparently the necklace is more symbolic of that man than his own body was, so
Why
it's just not
do I
right.
give a shit about that?
You don't, but I do. So if I have the information, I'm gonna give it to the man.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Freddy. Jasper, that's kind of fucked up to take it off a dead body like that.
I wasn't gonna say anything if it was just an important medallion to him, but the way that Cro-Mag put it is that medallion being more him than his own body, and that means more than just a necklace.
Well, I didn't really have a chance to tell you all about it, but it was a good thing I did that horrible thing and stole that necklace off the corpse of a piece of shit. Cause, hey Rory, could you come over here, please?
And Rory kind of comes to his feet and walks over. What's the matter?
I don't really know how to go about this, but I didn't want to have this conversation without all four of us present. I tried to get your attention while we were underground earlier tonight with the medallion because I wanted to do it quietly because of the, the sleeping griffin. Thing is, when I used that medallion to, like, creep into your mind, it was not your mind that I crept into. It was a creature with green eyes and a tentacled mouth staring back at me, and it attempted to do something in retaliation.
Rornak,
I
you feel your
managed-
whole body go stiff and cold, hearing someone else peer into your mind like that.
Are you aware that you have this? I don't even know if I can call it a connection. Something was in your mind that wasn't you.
Vanquo, you saw Vanquo there. I believe I had mentioned before, I don't know if I've told everybody about everything, but I believe I mentioned when I died being pulled back to somewhere in the Earthspur Mountains and a mind flayer playing with me. It's him. It has to be.
Should we be concerned about the fact that he had a presence with you? Do you feel him? Did you know that this was happening?
It is something that I have known, especially since coming back. It's a presence that I truthfully would rather not dwell on, and rather dwell on something a bit more safer to me as he clutches onto the Ilmater mask.
Not to be pushing any buttons, but that little brain that was walking around on four legs and popped out of the back of that gal's head, sure shook you pretty good. Do you think that might have, I don't know, got a little worm in your ear or something?
Jove, I'm afraid that worm's been in my ear long before that. The reality, I guess we're doing this now. The reality that I've learned is that I am not the only Rornak, so to speak. Or rather, I am Rornak in soul, but this Vanquo that I'm almost positive you saw, Jasper, they're able to, well, create other Rornaks. I'm sure you've noticed many of the things that we've come across lately. Notice they're uncanny. I'm pretty sure that's of his doing. For whatever reason, I'm the only one that has Rornak the soul inside of it.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
I've died twice and I can't do it either.
Just keep us updated, you know, if something starts to not feel right, or I don't know, just anything.
Always remember that you are Rornet. There ain't no other fellas like you out there, Rornet. I don't care what some squid-faced monster has to do with it. You're you. And there's strength in that, so.
Well, I appreciate that, friend. That truly means a lot to me right now. And, well, it has been since that out-of-body experience that I've had any sort of feeling like that. I would let you know if it happened again, but I can tell you all with certainty that I know Vonko is there in the Earthspur Mountains, somewhere beneath where my own monastery is. I was there. When I was gone, I felt it. So, if we go out there, just know that that's likely waiting.
That's our beeline, friend. We're heading straight there.
Yeah, we got that business with the Ludwig Khazar. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I got that note. Take to the king over there. And frankly, I still got that lingering offer from that hawk fella. About 1,000 gold pieces. Getting in some trouble over there as well, so. We're going to be in the Earthspur Mountains here in a couple of days.
Well, it'll be nice to have a hawk knowing that we were busy with work outside the city, considering our current situation. So, let's try to get that done after we get some sleep.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long one, Ronak kind of says, keeping a little to himself, but clearly feeling it.
And as you all begin making preparations to rest for the evening, knowing that a journey to the Earthspur Mountains lies ahead of you, knowing that within these mountains lies Iron Ludwig Khazar, the king of the Ludwig Khazar dwarves, knowing that the mining in any military forces entering into the Falling Stone mines has yet to return. And knowing somewhere deep in those mountains lies the Mind Flayer, Vonquo. The very same Mind Flayer that killed Rornak oh so long ago. And that's where we're going to end it for today. But not before we divvy out some experience.
Ooh!
Oh, yes.
That's fucking dope.
So, for defeating 2 axe breaks, 6 dust mephits, a griffin, 4 nobles, a spy, a swarm of ravens, a thug, and Thylius Karamitru, also known as the Hurricane, though we didn't get a chance to jump into it.
He couldn't talk and tell us that.
Couldn't have heard it even if he said it. Everybody, you gain 900 experience points.
We did it.
I believe that's level 5.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's hear the level 5s. Let's get those rolls, do the things. I want to hear hit dice rolls, and I want to hear what level you're taking, and what abilities come with it. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. So let's hear it. Welcome to level 5, you fuckers. The hard part of the campaign starts now.
Great.
I needed the level 5 before what we're about to do, man.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say
Yeah.
900?
900.
Okay.
900 individually for everybody.
And
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
we also may have made this a lot harder on ourselves with how things went too, but you know.
Boy, yeah, it was one of those that, like, once we were in it, I was like, legally speaking, yeah, you guys are in some fucking hot water. You guys are in some fucking big trouble right now, if this goes poorly. Because you're kind of dead to rights. And the courts are not kind here in Mulemaster.
Oh. Alright, 5th level. I get Font of Inspiration, which means I now get all my Bardic Inspiration back on a short or long rest.
Nice.
So I can really pump those Johnnies out.
And is your Bardic Inspiration increase a die? Go from D6 to
let me look
D8?
at Bardic Inspiration. Might be level 6. Oh, this is D8. Yep, 5th level D8.
Nice. So the Bard gets the inspiration to a D8, Font of Inspiration, but the most important ability here is access to 3rd level spells. That's the big one. 3rd level spell casting is a game changer. So when we return next session, if you would kindly tell me what spells you're adding. You don't have to choose right now. I know that's a big choice for bards, so just let me know what spells you will be adding in the future. Unless you're like, I'm fucking adding this right now. No holds bar.
Well, yeah, there's only one actual spell slot that opened up from one known spell opened up for me.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to get rid of some stuff if I want to add more than one.
Yep, now's the time. Go for it.
Bards are prepared, right? Yeah.
Yes. And what was your hit dice roll?
Oh, I take average.
Oh, you take the average. All right,
I don't,
so it took the...
I don't fucks with that.
No, that's probably a smart move for you. So it takes the 5 plus your con. So that's the Bard. Let's move. We'll just move down from Freddy down to Jasper Lapis, level 5. This is the big one, I believe. Is this your first level Paladin?
No, it is my 3rd level of fighter to get the samurai archetype, so that I can use my bonus action 3 times a day to gain 5 temporary HP and gain advantage on weapon attacks. And I took the average for health, so I'm at 42 HP.
Yes, you also gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: History, Insight, Performance, or Persuasion. Or, additionally,
Insight.
Took Insight. Gotcha. Took Insight, and you get Fighting Spirits. Another D10 added to your hit die pool. Are you going to average or roll it out?
I averaged.
6 plus con, I believe that's a plus 8 to you.
Yep.
Gotcha. So, the Frog is now 3 levels of Fighter, 2 levels of Rogue. Solid. Moving on down. Jove.
Yes, I rolled it out, but it gave me average anyways. So I got my 8, so that brings me up to a clean 50 health points.
Nice.
Yes, I get that sweet extra attack. And then obviously the proficiency bonus getting up to +3.
Yeah, proficiency bonus for everybody. Nice.
I get some 2nd level spell. I get what? Let me
You get 2.
double check. 2 slots. I only get 1 more known spell.
And 1 more first level slot. So you have 4 first levels and 2 second levels.
Indubitably. Looking at Pass Without Trace, but that's not a for sure yet, because I feel like the party needs that. And I'm trying to think. I don't think I get anything else for the whatchamacallit for Drake. No, next time I get anything for Drake is 7, but she does get a boost now to Aquila. Now has an AC of 17, and she has 30 hit points, and like all of her saving throws are based off of my proficiency bonus, so she gets a real big boost too.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's all across the board.
Yeah, 4. Yes. Small dragon. When does Aquila become a medium-sized creature?
That is a ways away. Let me see.
That's
She-
7th level.
Yeah.
7th level is Bond of Fang and Scale. At 7th level, your bond you share with your drake intensifies, protecting you and stoking the drake's fury. When you summon your drake, it grows wings on its back and gains a flying speed equal to its walking speed. In addition, when your drake is summoned, it grows to medium size, which you can mount. The bite attack deals an extra d6 damage of the dragon's essence type. And you, when she is summoned, gain resistance to the damage type chosen for Aquila. So that's at level 7, though. 2 more levels for that.
Yeah.
Ja.
So yeah, that's me. That's a big one. That's a big one for me.
It's a solid boost. And then finally, Rornak.
All right. So we played it risky and we rolled for our health and we were rewarded with a 5. So that's a 7. We rolled a 5, I should say. So that's plus 7, bringing me up to 39 hit points. And then level 5 is the big one for a monk as well. Going down the list, we now have 5 key points. Our martial arts die has now been upgraded to a 1d6. So any unarmed strike will roll with that. Also, the big boys now get extra attack, so anytime I take the attack action, I can attack twice within that, and we also get stunning strike. So whenever I hit somebody with an attack, I can spend a key point to attempt that, and on a they then have to make a Constitution save, or they are stunned until the end of my next turn.
Well, that's a big one.
Level 5 is pretty good for monk, man. You get too many things, honestly. It's like
Wow.
Christmas, basically, you know?
Well
But for your
done.
fist. Yeah.
You guys have made it to level 5. That's a big one. Congratulations, guys. Well earned.
Yeah.
We will be back next Sunday at our usual time at 5:30 to continue and begin part 1 of Mayhem in the Earthspur Mountains. Technically, this is actually like part 4. Our adventures in the Black Blade is actually the beginning of that module. Or, I mean, the Bloody Boar, my bad. So those 4 sessions we did there earlier in this kind of multi-module time, before we did Fergus's mission, those are all actually the first part of Mayhem in the Earthspur Mountains. So we'll actually be returning to part 4 of that module as we finally head outside the city of Mulemaster, up the North Pass towards the Falling Star Mines, the home of the Ludwig Khazar, stone dwarves, and likely the secret base of the Mind Flayer known as Ivanquo. Let's say good night to chat, or I guess good afternoon.
Good afternoon, chat.
Good afternoon,
Good
chat.
afternoon, chat.
Good afternoon, chats. Thank you so much for being here with us and continuing our adventures. It makes this even that much more fun. It's not that we need you, but we want you, and that's important. Peace in the Middle East. Much love. See you next Sunday.